Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. My goodness.
Major League Baseball play-by-play is now on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
How you manage your team day in and day out will be the difference in where you finish in 2024.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Toyota Owners 400
from Richmond Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Hi, this is Mike Tirico. The 2024 Masters Tournament is coming, and you can hear all the action on SiriusXM.
They turned right into the cup for John Rahm.
Masters Radio returns Monday, April 8th, with play-by-play coverage from Augusta National Golf Club beginning Thursday, April 11th.
Rory McIlroy, 8 under par, 64. He's thinking Grand Slam.
Hear the 2024 Masters on Channel 92 when you're in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Get ready for the 2024 NFL Draft on Sirius.
Caleb Williams.
Catch exclusive interviews with the top prospects as they begin their journey to the NFL. And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2024 Draft from Detroit in April.
With the first pick, the Chicago Bears select.
Your home for the 2024 NFL Draft is SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app. You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
This slams the ball to right field. Way back. Way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 2024 debut start for 3 Blue Jays comes today on the 3rd day in a row on Tropicana Field turf. Toronto lines up offseason pickups Daniel Vogelbach and Brian Servant, as well as returning player Ernie Clement for the first time as the Blue Jays search for a 2-1 edge in this series against the Rays. Hello and welcome to this Saturday afternoon edition of Toronto Blue Jays baseball. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is the former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Our host and producer today is Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young is our technical director. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Halifax and Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Protect your vehicles from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. The Blue Jays try to bounce back for the first time in 2024 after a dominant 8-2 win by the Rays yesterday. The southpaw Yusei Kikuchi makes his first start after a breakout 2023, with Zach Littell coming off an emerging season as well for the Rays. They battle next. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Everyone dreams of owning their own personal slice of heaven. Now you can, thanks to Fixed Rate Pizza by Pizza Pizza. Until the end of 2024, lock into an extra-large 4-topping pizza at a fixed price of $17.99. No matter how bad food prices get this year, your pizza price stays. So why not say no to surge pricing and yes to fixed-rate pizza? Order now from Pizza Pizza.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with 2 seconds left. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Tune to SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 all year long to hear expert opinions and analysis from former players, coaches, and executives.
Network.
Just a couple minutes away from Yusei Kikuchi's first start of the season. Also, Ernie Clement, Daniel Vogelback, and Brian Servin's first start of the year as well. It's the Blue Jays and Rays in Game 3 of this 4-game set to start the year. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. And Chris, Yusei Kikuchi was so important for the Blue Jays last year. His emergence, part of the reason that their rotation was top 5 in baseball in terms of ERA. What do you think about Kikuchi now coming into this season?
Well, of course, Yusei had a great season last year, and we all know about the stuff. He has that mid-90s fastball, the devastating off-speed pitches. He is one of the few lefties in the big leagues that has that type of stuff. But I saw him a few times in spring training, and he looked a little bit off. He had a great spring training in 2023, but 2024, he just looked a little bit off. We know that he was working on that changeup that he only threw 9% of the time last year at 89 miles an hour, which is pretty quick for a changeup. You generally want that changeup to be, I would say, at least 8 miles an hour slower than your fastball to be really effective. And he was 6'5", and that's just not slow enough to get really good or really bad swings on a changeup. But Yusei Kikuchi knows what he has to do. If he was working on that changeup in spring training and he didn't have the success that he thought he would, he'll just stick it in his back pocket and throw what he was throwing last year: the slider, the curveball, the really, really good fastball. Yusei is a big part of this team. He has to be good this year for the Blue Jays to reach their potential, and we'll see if he's going to continue on in his spring training type of ways or pick up where he left off last year.
We definitely will see. Before we get there, though, Zach Littell is going to pitch first. And before we get to that, let's go to our host today for the first time. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Welcome back, everyone, inside Baseball Control. Happy Easter weekend, everyone. Hope you are all enjoying your long weekend so far. As we await first pitch for today's game, 4:10 p.m. Eastern, 1:10 p.m. Pacific, this Saturday afternoon, let's hear a little bit from Blair and Barker. You heard Ben just mention Zach Littell, who we'll get to see first in this game. Blair and Barker had Brian Anderson from Bally Sports Sun on with them on Thursday, and Blair starts us off here with the guys discussing an X-factor, an all-star of sorts for the Rays in 2024, and the answer directly relates to the guys you will see on the mound for the Rays today.
Which Rays player do we not know right now who's going to end up representing this team in the All-Star game? Because every year there's somebody halfway through the year we go, look at this guy.
How about Zach Littell?
Zach Littell transitioned. It was the third year in a row last year that the Rays were able to successfully transition a bullpen arm into the starting rotation during the season, during a competitive season where they're consistently going to the playoffs. That's hard to do. You're basically playing spring training with a guy for a month to stretch him out to be a starter, and all three cases were successful. Drew Rasmussen, Jeffrey Springs, and last year Zach Littell. And Zach Littell has really picked it up. He had an outstanding spring training. He keeps things very simple. He attacks the zone. He trusts his stuff. And he's a guy that you could see going out there and kind of opening some eyes, as if the Rays over the years haven't had enough outstanding to elite starting pitching. You got a guy like Zach Littell that has the capability to sneak up on some people. And so I'll be looking for big things out of him. We'll see.
That is Brian Anderson from Bally Sports Sun on with Blair and Barker chatting about today's Rays starter, Zach Littell. Before we get started, let's check out the Bet365 standings update. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Let's check out the AL East. The Yankees are 2-0 following a second straight win over the Astros, both games at Minute Maid Park. Our Orioles had a day off yesterday, so they are still 1-0, a quirk of the early season schedule at Camden Yards. And the Red Sox, Rays, and of course Blue Jays are all 1-1 after 2 games. And don't forget, we do have Jays Talk today. Julia Kreutz will be alongside me for the post-game show. I cannot wait to take your calls. We'll take your texts as well. Get to all of your post-game comments one way or another, and we'll do that after the final out both today and tomorrow. Blair and Barker will be back for the Houston series starting on Monday. All right, let's get you over to the game. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue have the call of Blue Jays at Rays.
Thank you very much. So let's take a look at today's lineups here as Zach Littell is starting to get loose for Tampa Bay. The Blue Jays will lead off George Springer, who plays right field, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting second and playing first. The shortstop Bo Bichette hits third, and in the cleanup spot with his first start of the season, DH Daniel Vogelbach. Dalton Varsho hits fifth, plays left field. Ernie Clement, making his first start, will hit sixth and play third. Kevin Kiermaier bats seventh and is the center fielder. Brian Serven catches in his first start as a Blue Jay and hits eighth. And then Kevin Biggio, the second baseman, bats ninth. He is one of 4 left-handed hitters the Blue Jays start today. They also start the left-handed pitcher in Yusei Kikuchi up against this Rays lineup. Yandy Diaz leads off, plays first. Harold Ramirez bats second, DHs. Randy Arozarena bats third, plays left. Isaac Paredes cleans up and plays third. Ahmed Rosario hits fifth, plays right. Jose Caballero, the shortstop, hits sixth. Curtis Mead plays second and bats seventh. Jose Siri, the center fielder, hitting eighth. Rene Pinto rounds out the lineup as the catcher, batting ninth. And it's the 28-year-old right-hander about to start his 7th season, Zach Littell, on the mound for the Rays as George Springer steps into the box. Littell, with just his toes on the first base side of the rubber, kicks and delivers the first pitch, down and away, 1-0. Underway a minute early today, 4:09 p.m. Eastern, 1:09 Pacific, indoor at the Trop, about 22 degrees Celsius. The 1-0 is hit back up the middle where the second baseman Mead is stationed. On one hop, he gloves it and throws to first, and Springer's retired. That's the old, it's been a hit for 100 years, but just because they put some shift rules in doesn't mean Curtis Mead can't stand right down or one step to the side of right down the middle of the field.
Yeah, I mean, George Springer hit that ball right on the screws. But you're right, 20 years ago, that's a base hit all day long, but not in 2024.
So one out, here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Littell kicks and delivers, and the right-hander misses high, 1-0. It's the first inning, brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The 1-0 pitch is grounded up the middle, this time snared by the pitcher Littell. He'll jog over near first and flip it to Yandy Diaz. There are 2 down. Manny Gonzalez is behind the plate today on the umpiring crew. Derek Thomas at first. It's Todd Tishner at second. And the third base umpire is Corey Blazer. Here's Bo Bichette. 2 outs, bases empty, no score, top of the first. First pitch swinging, he fouls it back. Rene Pinto is behind the plate today working with Zach Littell. Yandy Diaz at first, Curtis Mead at second. Jose Caballero plays short with Isaac Paredes at third. 0-1 to Bichette. Lifted to shallow right field. Meade, the second baseman, going out. He makes the call and catches it in front of the right fielder, Ahmed Rosario, to end the inning. The Blue Jays go down 1-2-3 very quickly. It's a strong first inning for Zach Littell. No score, middle of the first. Yusei Kikuchi is next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by our local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekdays starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on bluejays.com/workfromdome.
Everyone dreams of owning their own personal slice of heaven. Now you can, thanks to Fixed Rate Pizza by Pizza Pizza. Until the end of 2024, lock into an extra large 4-topping pizza at a fixed price of $17.99. No matter how bad food prices get this year, your pizza price stays. So why not say no to surge pricing and yes to Fixed Rate Pizza? Order now from Pizza Pizza.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Double's gone! 2-run shot, Kevin Kiermaier.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Yusei Kikuchi on the mound. Bottom of the first inning about to start. His pitch to Yandy Diaz is fouled back, 0-1. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Scoreless game, bottom of the first inning, Game 3, Blue Jays and Rays. The southpaw Kikuchi gets ready to deal to Diaz. His 0-1. Low with a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rays manager Kevin Cash has given Yusei Kikuchi 9 right-handed hitters to deal with today. All of the Rays lefties on the bench. 1-1, curveball outside.
And this is the kind of lineup that a changeup would be very useful against. I don't know if he feels comfortable throwing that changeup as much as he was working on it in spring training. I guess we'll see.
Kikuchi's pitch. Missed outside with the fastball. It's 3-1. Fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup for Kikuchi. Used to throw more of a splitter. Now it's a traditional change that he's worked on for a lot of the spring. The 3-1. Slider popped up, foul territory, first base side. Vladdy on the run. He'll have to pull up as it bounces off the top of the Rays first base dugout and goes into the seats. Yusei Kikuchi also working with Brian Servin today behind the plate. It's Vladdy at first, Kevin Biggio at second. Bo Bichette's the shortstop, Ernie Clement at third, and then Varsho, Kiermaier, Springer left to right in the outfield. Full count on Yandy Diaz. Kikuchi in the set. His pitch. High ball 4. Couple big misses with the fastball for Kikuchi, and he walks Diaz to start his appearance.
Yeah, that was not a competitive fastball. That was way out of the zone. That's not something you want to see early on from Yusei. I can tell usually how he's going to be for the rest of the game early on. I'm talking like first 10 to 15 pitches. If he's attacking the zone with his fastball, he generally has a pretty solid game.
First pitch to Harold Ramirez, grounded down the third baseline. Diving stop, Clement gets up, throws to first, and it's not in time. Nice play by Ernie Clement to limit that to just an infield single, but it's a base hit for Harold Ramirez, and Diaz is up to second.
And you could tell right there with Ernie Clement just how athletic he is. Makes that play, diving into foul territory. Not a really close play at first base, but a super athletic play.
probably shouldn't have made the throw, but a smart play at first by Guerrero to get off the bag and just catch the throw that was sailing a little bit wide. It is 1st and 2nd, though, here for the Rays with nobody out. And now it's Randy Arozarena. The pitch called strike one. You're talking about Kikuchi. It's now his 6th major league season. He's 32 years old. Left-hander peaks at second once more and now pitches. Missed down and in. And he was just massive for the Blue Jays, a 3.86 ERA in 32 starts last year. Only walked 48 guys, too, in over 167 innings. The 1-1. Ball 2, a little bit low.
Sometimes it seems like Yusei doesn't really trust his stuff. He has very good stuff, and I don't think he realizes that 95, 97 mile an hour fastball from the left side is plus.
His 2-1. Slider, strike 2. Arozarena doesn't like it, but the strike box disagrees. It says that Kikuchi caught that top left corner away from the right-handed hitter, Randy Arozarena. Here's his 2-2. Swing and a miss. Put a fastball in the zone and beat Arozarena. He strikes him out for the first out of the inning.
And that's what you have to do. If you're Yusei Kikuchi and you have the kind of stuff that he has, you have to challenge hitters. You can't put them on base via the walk. You have to challenge them. He challenged Arozarena there with a 96 mile an hour fastball down in the zone. And you see there, Randy had no chance at that fastball.
So here comes Isaac Paredes with still runners on 1st and 2nd and 1 out. The pitch. High ball 1. Last year against right-handed hitters, Kikuchi really leaned on his 4-seam fastball, mixed in the breaking balls about an even amount, the curve and slider. 1-0 is a slider for strike 2. Might have gotten a call there from Manny Gonzalez. Isaac Paredes coming off a 31 home run season, a .250 average last year. The 1-1. Down and away.
And this is the perfect opportunity down in the count, a fastball count, to mix in that changeup. And Paredes will likely just roll over and hit into a double play. I would love for him to do that right here, but I don't think he's comfortable with that changeup yet.
Kikuchi is going to step off and just turn and throw back to first. Brian Servin now going back to his right leg where he has the pitch count. The call is in and Kikuchi is set. Looks at the runner on second, delivers home, and it's fouled back. It's 2-2. Challenged him with a fastball. We haven't seen that changeup yet.
And that just tells me that he's not comfortable with it. If he hasn't thrown it yet, these are high stress situations here. Usually you throw a changeup, mix one in here and there. And if he hasn't thrown it, he's probably not comfortable with it.
Diaz on second, Ramirez on first, 1 out. The 2-2. Fouled back again. Kikuchi up to 17 pitches already with just 1 out recorded here in the bottom of the first. On the other side, Zach Littell used 6 in the top of the first inning to retire the Blue Jays in order. Yusei kicks and delivers. And it's lofted to shallow left center field. Bichette, the shortstop, going out. He'll make the call, which makes it an infield fly rule as an infielder was camped under it. The batter is out, and there are 2 down.
There's another example of challenging a hitter with a good fastball down in the zone. If he continues to challenge hitters down in the zone, not live near the belt like he has early on in this game, he'll do fine.
So after the walk and the infield hit, Kikuchi with 2 straight outs, but not out of the woods yet. Ahmed Rosario, making his first start as a Tampa Bay Ray, is in the right-handed hitting batter's box. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Rosario signing on a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the Rays this offseason. Longtime Met, longtime Guardian, split last year between Cleveland and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The 1-0. Hammered to left center field. Varsho racing back. So is Kiermaier. In front of the track, he makes the call, and Varsho pulls up at the last second, and Kiermaier makes the catch. A booming fly ball from Rosario and a near collision in left center, but the Blue Jays escape without any damage. No score as we go to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Experience the excitement of the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments on SiriusXM and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The 1 seed to the brink and holds on.
Search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage of all the games.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Plus pre- and post-game shows and get analysis on basketball and beyond with Coach K. Get radio channels for your games at SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Feel the passion of Major League Soccer all season long on SiriusXM FC.
Stupendously magnificent!
Every week, hear all the top matches, including every Inter-Miami game.
Messi, up, overhand!
And get analysis and insight from our team of experts like former MVP Tony Meola.
He looks so confident. It's starting to look so easy.
It's Major League Soccer's biggest season ever, and you can experience it on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Women's NCAA Tournament is on SiriusXM.
It is going to be fun. It is going to be interesting.
For the best guests.
Dawn Staley.
I just want us to be who we've been.
And coverage of March Madness. Tune in to SiriusXM SEC Radio. From the biggest stars.
Reese putback is good. Nobody wants any part
of it.
Of Angel Reese right now.
To the top teams. We've got you covered through the National Championship in Cleveland. It's all on SiriusXM SEC Radio, Channel 374, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Get on the pitcher's mound with C.J. Nitkowski, Mike Stanton, and Brad Lidge on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and on your phone with the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the second inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Daniel Vogelbach takes a strike, and we're underway in the second. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. The 0-1 to Vogelbach. Called strike on the inside edge. 0-2. The left-handed hitter is coming off a season in which he played part-time with the Mets. Had 13 home runs and 48 RBIs. And the 0-2 is lined into left field just over the reach of the third baseman Paredes. Picked up by Arozarena. Vogelbach has his first Blue Jay hit.
And that's not generally something you see from Bogey going the other way with that fastball. Good piece of hitting right there, finding a hole.
Although I remember at spring training at a point we were talking to one of the Blue Jays hitting coaches, and he said Vogelbach, the way he approaches hitting is like a guy who's going to go everywhere, who's going to try and go about it, taking the ball where it goes, as Dalton Varsho takes a pitch high, 1-0. He does happen to be a pull-side power guy a lot of the time, but that's not how he's intending to hit balls. Vogelbach on first, nobody out, the 1-0. Called strike, looked high. Varsho looked a little bit dumbfounded on that call, but he'll step back into the box with a 1-1 count. Next pitch from Littell is swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Vogelbach and Varsho, two back-to-back left-handed hitters here for the Blue Jays to start this top of the second. Scoreless game, Blue Jays and Rays. The 1-2. Inside, 2-2.
And just for fun, I'll let you know that Bogey has 0 career stolen bases.
Oh, yeah. I would have bet on it.
He's standing about 4 feet off of first base right now.
The 2-2. Hit sharply through the hole up the middle and into right center field. Rosario comes in to get it, but Vogelbach will get up to second. Varsho's on first. It's back-to-back singles for the Blue Jays with Ernie Clement coming up.
And that was actually a good piece of hitting from Dalton Varsho. A slider from Littell. It's actually a split finger from Littell down. Varsho goes down and gets it and just hits it off the barrel into right field. Good piece of hitting.
Varsho flattening out his swing a little bit in spring training at least. And it looks to be paying off so far. First pitch to Ernie Clements, fouled off. It's 0-1. You mentioned that was Littell's splitter. He throws the slider and four-seamer the most, but he will mix in the splitter a lot to lefties. Has a sinker and a sweeper to go along with it too. The 0-1. Broken bat roller up the middle. The shortstop Caballero grabs it, stomps on the bag, throws to first. It's a double play. 6-3 twin killing ground ball for Ernie Clement. Vogelback does go up to third, but now Kevin Kiermaier bats with 2 down. Clement there reached for a slider away off the plate and hit it off the end of the bat. That's why it broke. The pitch to Kevin Kiermaier. Swings and misses. Strike 1.
Yeah, and this is where you make your money as a good team, a potential playoff team. Big hits with 2 outs, runners in scoring position.
The 0-1 is fouled off. 0-2. Both left-handed hitters have come up with hits so far in this inning. Kiermaier the third to come up to bat from the left side. John Schneider said before the game they've been pretty consistent. They're going away from righties and up and into all the lefties we have, and that's what they look like they were doing to Kiermaier for the first couple pitches. Now Pinto, the catcher, sets up outside, and Kiermaier swings and misses at a fastball to end the inning. The back-to-back singles by the Blue Jays are stranded, and we're still scoreless. Middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
At our core, who are we? The sum of our parts? Nah, we're more than that. There's nobody like us. At our core, we are built to win. Relentless in our pursuit of greatness. Who are we? Blue Jays to the core.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
In time! What a play, Bo Bichette!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
No score at Tropicana Field. The Blue Jays and the Rays in Game 3 of the season. Yusei Kikuchi embarks on his second inning of work with Jose Caballero, Curtis Mead, and Jose Siridua. Caballero, today's shortstop, turned a nice double play in the top half of the inning. Kikuchi's pitch to him. Called strike. Boy, that looked outside, but it's 0-1.
I have to admit, that was a terrible call.
Yeah, I mean, that was way outside. It appeared, at least. Here's the 0-1. Nearly as outside, but this time called the ball. It's 1-1. Caballero, a .221 hitter last year for the Mariners, did walk a good handful. The 1-1. Foul tipped into the glove of Servin. 1-2.
And you can see there, even though he didn't throw a strike with that changeup, now it puts the changeup in the back of Caballero's head, and he was way behind that 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
I believe that was the first changeup we saw from Kikuchi, the pitch 2 pitches ago. Here's the 1-2. Bounce the fastball, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And sometimes that's all it takes is just to show it, and now it's in the back of their head. That was a competitive pitch. I mean, it wasn't a bad pitch by any means. It could have been called a strike, but, I mean, we've seen that could have been called a strike.
I was going to say, what can't be called a strike right now? 2-2, fouled off.
So as long as you can show the Tampa Bay Rays that you have at least a little bit of a feel for it, they have to respect it, especially with how fast his velocity is.
Kikuchi had the 3rd hardest average four-seam fastball of a left-handed pitcher last year. The 2-2, breaking ball, bounced back up the middle. Kikuchi gloves it up to his stomach, turns and throws to first. 1 out. Only guys who threw harder than him on left-handed four-seam fastballs, Jesus Luzardo and Blake Snell.
I'd like to be in that group. That's a good group to be
So
in.
would I. 1 out, base is empty. No score, bottom of the 2nd. Here's Adelaide, Australia's Curtis Mead, the second baseman for the Rays. The first pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Mead playing 24 games last year for the Rays in his debut season, hitting the 250s with 1 homer and 5 RBIs. The 0-1. Outside, ball 1. You ever play with an Aussie?
Oh, good question. Played with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fair. The 1-1. Bounced. 2-1.
There's actually more Aussies than you'd think. Because they just kind of look American, right? Like if you don't hear them talking, you just...
Well, I was going to say, right when you hear them talking,
yeah, well, obviously.
you notice very quickly. But yeah, I remember in the Midwest League there being a lot of Australian guys. The 2-1 is grounded up the middle. Bichette ranging to his left, and it gets under him and into left center field for a base hit.
And we've seen Bo Bichette just a little bit shaky over there to start the season. I would say that most shortstops make that play or at least glove it and try to throw across their body. Just sneaks under Bo's glove there and into left field.
It was a long run, but he did get there, it appeared. But instead, it will be the second Rays hit today. First one to the outfield. And here comes Jose Siri. 1 out, runner on first. The pitch. Fouled off, 0-1. Siri, kind of like Bo Bichette, if you can picture his stance, stands on his front toes, turns the heel of that front left foot toward the pitcher. That stance worked for him last year. Hit 25 home runs, batted .250-ish. The 0-1. Low, 1-1. Pardon me, hit .221, 25 home runs, 56 RBIs.
Watching the replay of that last play from Bo Bichette, he actually overran that ball.
They ruled it a base hit, not an error. Kikuchi kicks up his leg and throws over to first. Made back.
I mean, it would have been a very hard play to field that ball, either spin, make the throw across the diamond, or throw across your body. Probably should have fielded that ball anyways, though.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Beat him with 96. Siri stumbling over the plate after the swing at that fastball. 1-2.
And if I see somebody swing like that at a fastball, I'm going just a little bit higher. Elevate that fastball around the letters. That was 96 miles an hour, almost down the middle.
The 1-2. Fastball at the knees, although I think Servin wanted it up top. It's fouled off. Still 1-2.
Yeah, they were trying to elevate that ball. Although that was a good pitch. That was 97 down, almost out of the strike zone. I'm still elevating here, though.
Kikuchi nods, and Siri now asks for time. Home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez steps to his right, and now is back behind the plate, twirling his pointer finger on his right hand to reset the clock. Kikuchi's 35th pitch of the day upcoming. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Got him on that new changeup. Siri went fishing down and away, and there are 2 down.
And that's the changeup that makes you a good pitcher, or sorry, it
turns you from good
to great. It starts down the middle, looks like a strike, and then it just breaks off the table. That was about 3 balls outside, and Jose Siri kind of just wails at it.
First pitch to Rene Pinto, high and tight, 1-0.
And there was a big difference in velocity as well. That fastball before was 97, and that changeup there was 88, almost 10 miles an hour. That's exactly where you want it.
2 down now in the bottom of the second. Still a runner on first, no score. Kikuchi looks twice at me, delivers, and it's outside, ball 2.
And you can see he's gaining a lot of confidence with that thing. We've seen him throw 3 of those changeups this inning, and they've been around the zone.
Maybe he wanted to wait till the bottom of the order to test some of them out rather than throwing his first to a guy like Randy Arozarena. Kikuchi's 2-0. Outside, 3-0. Don't want to issue a walk here. Yandy Diaz is on deck. Diaz has been tough to stop so far in this series. He had 2 hits yesterday, 3 hits in game 1. The 3-0. Called strike. Kikuchi might have been given another favor there as that pitch appeared outside. But you know what? At this point, it's starting to get consistent. That little bit off the plate to right-handed hitters is going to be called a strike.
Consistently large zone is what it is.
The 3-1. Ground ball, foul, 3-2. Challenger Baseball gives kids living with disabilities a place on the team where they belong by purchasing a Jays Care 50/50 ticket. You're supporting programs like Challenger Baseball for kids in your community. The take-home prize is already over $358,000, and with more than 40 prizes still up for grabs, there's no reason not to join in. Visit BlueJays.com/50/50 from Ontario or Nova Scotia to get your tickets now. Runner will leave on the pitch with a 3-2 count and 2 outs. And Kikuchi's just going to step off and fake a throw to first, maybe see if Meade will take a break in the wrong direction, or more likely just wait to pick another pitch. Want to reset the clock one time.
He does that really often, actually. Just kind of lazily moves his arm like he's going to throw, but clearly he's not going to throw.
I think it's a move he took from Chris Bassett. Bassett will step off and like fake like shovel pass to you. You know, like it's not a real attempt. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Middle in fastball at 96. Beats Pinto and ends the inning. Kikuchi strands the 1 hit, and we're scoreless going to the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Everyone dreams of owning their own personal slice of heaven. Now you can, thanks to Fixed Rate Pizza by Pizza Pizza. Until the end of 2024, lock into an extra large 4-topping pizza at a fixed price of $17.99. No matter how bad food prices get this year, your pizza price stays. So why not say no to surge pricing and yes to Fixed Rate Pizza? Order now from Pizza Pizza.
Order pizzapizza.ca. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
I give you the world, but there's other planets too. Hola, soy Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Está escuchando a Toronto Blue Jays Baseball en la radio de Sportsnet.
It's the third inning, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Halifax and Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Protect your vehicles from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Brian Serven takes his first plate appearance as a Blue Jay. The right-handed hitter waiting right now for the pitch from the righty Zach Littell. It's outside, ball 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Serven showed some power in the spring, coming over from a year in which he split time between AAA and the major leagues with Colorado. He fouls off the next pitch to make it 1-1.
And the Blue Jays aren't expecting a whole lot out of him offensively. It's more so just to give Alejandro Kirk a breather. Probably will play 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 4. I don't know.
Depends on some off days, too. The 1-1. Swing and a miss.
But Serven did hit 130 last year, albeit in a small sample size. 23 ABs.
I talked to him, too, because he played a lot more in the majors the year prior than last year. The 1-2 fouled back. And he was dealing with a hernia last season as well. Played through it for a little bit, missed time because of it. So after a year in which he was in the mix for the Rockies, in 22 he played over 60 games with Colorado. He wasn't really much of a factor for them in 23. Played 11 games at the major league level, 38 at the AAA level. But when Danny Jansen went down, he was in competition with guys, and it was his glove a lot that helped him make this team. The 1-2. High, 2-2.
Yeah, and if you look at his numbers from 22, 203, 6 homers, 16 RBIs, that's actually okay for a backup catcher.
Serven, 28 years old. The 2-2 pitch, high, ball 3. Cavan Biggio on deck, top of the order after that with George Springer in the hole. The payoff to Serven. Called strike 3. Beautiful pitch there from Littell right on the outside edge to free Serven for the first out.
Yeah, that's been called a strike all day long. So if I'm a Blue Jay, I'm swinging on that slider away. It's actually been called about two balls off the plate as well. So with 2 strikes, I'm definitely expanding and trying to fight that off.
1 out now, and Cavan Biggio up, a .235 hitter last year with 9 home runs. First pitch looked real high, but it was called a strike, 0-1. I mean, it's been even both ways, I will say. It's not like one team has really gotten it more than the other team. Kikuchi benefited from plenty of those calls, too. The 0-1 is fouled back, 0-2. Zach Littell rolling along so far. He's only at 28 pitches, has recorded 7 outs. Gave up 2 hits in the second, but there's nobody out, or pardon me, nobody on here with 1 out in the top of the third. The 0-2. High, nearly hit Biggio.
And we heard Brian Anderson, who's part of the Rays broadcast team, say before the game that Littell could potentially be a sleeper on this Rays team.
1-2 fouled back. Jeff Blair had asked him, because they're the Rays, who's the guy who people don't know that could end up at the All-Star game? And yeah, he said Littell was that guy. I mean, Littell did come off a hugely impressive spring. Didn't give up a run until his final outing in 4 starts. And one of his outings was a 5-inning scoreless performance at Atlanta. The 1-2 is high, 2-2. And when you go 2 teams in the spring, you see pretty much the regular lineup. He only gave up 1 hit, no walks, 6 strikeouts against the Braves on that day in Northport. The 2-2 to Biggio, way inside, 3-2.
And you look at his stuff. He has pretty average stuff across the board. Fastball, slider, change, split, all those things. But some guys just get outs. You don't have to have overpowering stuff to get outs. Location matters.
3-2 is inside, ball 4. Biggio probably ends up taking 5 balls in that at bat, but he gets aboard here with 1 out in the top of the third. Interesting, too, for Littell. He's been around. I mean, this is not a new guy to the major leagues. He's pitched in 6 previous seasons, and prior to last year, he had made 4 starts in his entire career. He was pretty much a career reliever. The Rays converted him into a starter. His first pitch to Springer is chopped foul, 0-1. They did, the thing that the Rays tend to do. He was DFA'd by the Red Sox after 2 tough appearances. They claimed him, and they turned him into a starter, and then he had an 11-start stretch from late July to late September where he had a 3.36 ERA. He turns and throws to first. Biggio back with a dive.
So I guess I should believe Brian Anderson is what you're saying.
I mean, there's some proof there. And he's going to get an opportunity with a lot of their injuries. He's the number 3 starter on this Rays team. The 0-1. Springer hits a sharp ground ball to short. Caballero up with it, flips to Mead for 1 over to first, 6-4-3, inning-ending double play. Littell erases the walk and keeps this game scoreless, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and you can hear the best matchups and wall-to-wall coverage on NBA Radio Channel 86.
Driving through the rim, got there, lays it up and in!
We're getting you ready for the postseason with our experts all day, every day.
This is what playoff basketball is, man. This ain't about pretty stuff.
Defensively, they have 0 weaknesses.
The NBA postseason starts April 16th, and your home for all the action is NBA Radio Channel 86 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game. The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Share the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. The team at Timbermart has the great advice and the products you need, so you'll get the job done right. Knock it out of the park and win the day with Timbermart, Canada's building center. Yandy Diaz fouls off the first pitch, and the bottom of the third has started. In the Timbermart broadcast booth, I'm Ben Schulman. To the left of me is Chris LaRue. Lefty Yusei Kikuchi on the mound. Here's a 0-1 to Diaz. Bounced, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you can see Brian serving there. He calls that changeup, and he sets up right down the middle. He doesn't want that pitch down the middle, but he wants Yusei's eyes to look down the middle and let that changeup run off the plate.
Here's the 1-1. Fastball lifted to right. Springer twisting near the corner. Watches it go foul. That's 10, 15 feet from being a home run. But it's allowed strike for Kikuchi, and now he's ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And the best part about that is Yusei Kikuchi is challenging Yandy Diaz, one of the best hitters in the big leagues. Kikuchi needs to challenge everybody, regardless of how good they are.
He walked Diaz in the first inning. The 1-2. Sliced foul, still 1-2.
You can see Servin shaking his head. Yep, that's the one right there. That was a great slider down in the zone. Yandy just stuck the bat out and fouled it off, but it was still a very good pitch. Slider, not out of the zone, bottom of the strike zone.
The 1-2. Bounce the changeup. Yandy Diaz received his Silver Slugger today for the work he did at first base, and really the work he did with the bat as a first baseman last year. .330 average to win the batting title. The 2-2. Hit hard on the ground at the shortstop. Bichetti charges in, gloves, throws, and retires Yandy Diaz.
And again, just a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, middle of the plate, down in the zone, challenged him, and Yandy just hit it into the ground.
That's a tough guy to beat when you're a lefty. Yandy Diaz had an on-base plus slugging higher than anyone in Major League Baseball against left-handed pitching last year. Higher than Mookie Betts, who was right behind him, and other power-hitting right-handed hitters like Jorge Soler. First pitch to Harold Ramirez, fouled off to the right, 0-1.
Yeah, we talked about Matt Olson last night being one of the most underrated players in the big leagues. I think Yandy Diaz is probably up there as well.
For sure. Harold Ramirez, 1 for 9 this year, picked up a hit in the first. The 0-1, fouled back, 0-2. This is a guy that a good handful of the Blue Jays know pretty well. Ramirez, a member of the 2017 and 18 New Hampshire Fisher Cats, the AA team for the Blue Jays, played 1 game for them in 2016 as well. The 0-2. Poked on the ground to Kevin Biggio, who stumbles but makes the play, gets up and throws out Ramirez. There are 2 down. Harold Ramirez, when he played with New Hampshire, played with Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Danny Jansen, Jordan Romano, Tim Meza, Lourdes Gurriel, Santiago Espinal. He was around with a lot of those guys, but it was right at the back end of his first kind of minor league contract. He had minor league free agency after 2018 and left. The pitch to Randy Arozarena, fouled back, 0-1. 2 outs, base is empty, no score in the bottom of the third. Kikuchi struck out Arozarena on a fastball in the first. Here's his 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2.
He's thrown about 2 or 3 or 4 good changeups in a row. I think he's really starting to get the feel for it. I mean, I didn't see many good ones in spring training, but I guess he was just saving them for the regular season.
Here's the 0-2. Went with the slider and missed.
And again, Servin shaking his head. Yep, that's the one. It's always a good feeling when you miss and you look at your catcher and he's shaking his head in a positive way. It makes you feel more confident in what you just did.
The 1-2. Down and away. John Schneider was asked before today's game why Brian Servin with Yusei Kikuchi specifically, and one of the things he said was Servin's conviction in the game plan, his confidence in what they're doing. The 2-2. Just low. Servin tried to frame that one and did a decent job, but it didn't fool Manny Gonzalez. I think full count.
I think Kikuchi was trying to fool Manny Gonzalez as well. He took about 5 or 6 steps off the mound towards the Blue Jays dugout. About a ball off the plate. That was a good call. Shockingly.
Here's the payoff. Outside ball 4. Arozarena with a 2-out walk, and that extends the inning for Isaac Paredes. Those two, Arozarena and Paredes, 2 Team Mexico teammates in the 2023 World Baseball Classic, and really maybe their 2 best hitters, as Mexico made a surprising run all the way to the semifinal, lost to the eventual winner Japan by just 1 run. First pitch to Paredes is high and outside.
And Arozarena was actually born and raised in Cuba.
He defected to Mexico. He's talked about his daughter was born in Mexico, and he has citizenship in Mexico now. Throw over to first. The aforementioned Arozarena goes back.
Of course, he has ties to Mexico, a lot like Freddie Freeman with Canada. People always wonder, why is Freddie Freeman playing for Canada? Of course, both Freddie's parents are Canadian.
The 1-0 to Paredes is way outside, 2-0. Kikuchi recorded 2 outs on a pair of grounders to start this inning, but after walking Randy Arozarena after being ahead 0-2, he's now behind 2-0 to Isaac Paredes. Healthy lead for Arozarena at first. Kikuchi delivers home, and Paredes grounds it foul, 2-1. In that semifinal game, Arozarena had a home run robbery. He had a 2-run double. When he robbed the home run, he did his kind of patented like arms crossed on the warning track. And kind of right behind him, Paredes second in RBIs for Mexico in the tournament. They were a really fun team to watch. The 2-1 from Kikuchi. Inside 3-1.
And this is a great count. I know
for the pitcher,
it's a great count to throw the changeup.
Okay.
This is a very hitter-friendly count, fastball count.
3-1 fastball lifted out of play behind the plate. Servin thought he had a play on it for a moment, put his hands out in the air, but it was way behind him.
But if you have a great feel for that changeup, when you fall behind 2-0, 3-1, if you can mix in a changeup right down the middle, that hitter sees that beach ball coming in. They either swing and miss or they ground out.
Here's the 3-2. Sailed the fastball for ball 4. Back-to-back walks for Kikuchi. It's costing him a ton of pitches now. There's going to be a mound visit here from Pete Walker. You say Kikuchi up to 62 pitches with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of control with that fastball. He still has a good feel for his slider and his curveball, but you can tell every time he throws that fastball, it's nowhere near where Servin is setting up.
Kikuchi's walked 3 in fewer than 3 innings. Whole infield coming in. Quick mound visit there. And Kikuchi ready to go again. But he faces Ahmed Rosario, who smoked a fly ball his last time up. Rosario hit it to deep left center field. Kevin Kiermaier made it out there, but that ball was hit nearly 400 feet.
Ahmed Rosario only had 6 home runs in 2023 and 510 at-bats. Maybe that's all he's got.
We'll wait and see. Here's the left on right pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-1. He is a guy who's hit 15 home runs in a season before. That was with the Mets in 2019. 11 home runs in 21 and 22. The 0-1 is smoked over the leap of Bichette at short and into left field. Varsho comes up throwing. Arozarena going to the plate, and he will score. It's an RBI single for Ahmed Rosario and a 1-0 Tampa Bay lead.
That actually wasn't a terrible pitch. It was off the plate just a little bit, and Ahmed Rosario goes out and gets it and lines that ball just over Bo Bichette at shortstop.
I think it comes back to how many times you're going to walk 2 guys in an inning and get away with it.
Well, you rarely do. That's the thing. If you walk 2 guys in an inning, I'll put money on it that they're coming in to score.
First and second, still 2 outs. The pitch to Jose Caballero. Check swing, swinging bunt up the third base line. Kikuchi bare hands, throws to first. Vladdy had to dive off the bag to keep it from going down the right field line. A nice play by Guerrero, but the runner is safe and the bases are loaded.
Yeah, that's a tough play for a pitcher. Kikuchi picks it up with his bare hand and spins to first base. Sometimes when you spin quickly like that, you lose sight of first base, and I can almost guarantee that's what happened there. A tough play. Sometimes you just have to put that in your back pocket and keep that runner at third base. Vlad with a great athletic play to catch that ball.
Yeah, Vlad doesn't come off the bag to catch that. That ball's going down the right field line. Probably 2-run score. First pitch to Curtis Mead is low, 1-0. Bases loaded, 1-0 Rays. 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. The 1-0 to Mead. Called strike. Mead bouncing a little bit up and down in his stance. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. If Kikuchi can get out of this, if Kikuchi can get out of this, 1 run in 3 innings total, still pretty solid to keep going forward, but is about to throw his 69th pitch of the game because of all this traffic so far. 4 base runners for the Rays in this inning. 1 run has come in. The 1-2. Hit foul to the right side. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And this is a big pitch right here. You don't want to throw anything fat down the middle, even anything that Meade can make contact with. I either bounce a curveball or I elevate that fastball. You'll probably mix it up and throw a changeup.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball hits at third. Clement racing the runner to the third base bag. He dives and tags it with his glove to end the inning. A nice play at third by Ernie Clement, but the Rays score a run on 2 hits. They leave the bases loaded and lead 1-0 going to the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with no second thought. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning, it's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
This is CJ Nikowski. Join me, Ryan Spilborghs, and Brad Lidge every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern as we give you the player's perspective of what's happening in baseball.
He is possessed every time he goes out there right now. This is crazy.
There's this energy that certain players bring.
It's Loud Outs every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM
Network.
The 4th inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 18 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. 1-0 Rays over the Blue Jays after Ahmed Rosario's RBI single. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. takes strike 1 from Zach Littell. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. Blue Jays trying to come back in this game. The 0-1. Swing and a miss over a sweeping breaking ball, or actually the splitter, pardon me. It's 0-2. For what it's worth, the team that scored first in this series each of the first 2 games has actually gone on to lose. Rays scored first in the opener. Yesterday, the Blue Jays got on the board first. The 0-2. Vladdy fouls back a fastball. Guerrero 3 for 9 to start the season with a double with a walk and a homer. The 0-2. High ball 1. Guerrero taps the plate once and then raises his hands high where the coaches want them to keep them. The next pitch way up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You could hear Vlad from up here.
Yeah.
That fastball sailed by his chin as he jumped out of the way.
The 2-2. Inside ball 3.
And these are the types of at-bats that you really didn't see from Vlad last year. He's battling back after being down 0-2, laying off some good pitches.
They set up outside. The 3-2 is ball 4. It was high, and Guerrero will flip the bat away and head down to first.
And that's a great sign. Seeing him have an at-bat like that, I can't remember the last time he battled back from 0-2. He generally swings at a slider away or a fastball away and just grounds out to shortstop. Tell you what, this is a great sign for this team.
Guerrero on first. Blue Jays have had base runners in now this inning, the third and the second, but they trail 1-0. Bo Bichette at the plate, the pitch. Bichette hits a fly ball to right center field. Charging in Rosario. He makes the catch in just his 20th outfield start, or 21st of his career. There's one down. Daniel Vogelbach about to come up. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every plate at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. First, the left-handed hitting Vogelbach faces a pitch, and it's hit sharply foul down the right field line. Other AL East game going on right now is in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the Orioles and the Angels. Second game of both of their seasons, because they had that opening day off day yesterday, the safety day, in case their game on Thursday got rained out. The 0-1. Down and in, 1-1. Baltimore up 3-1 in that game. Gunnar Henderson homered in the first, and Ryan Mountcastle has homered and then doubled in another run. Taylor Ward going long on the other side for the Angels. The 1-1 is a called strike against Vogelbach. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Top of the 4th at Tropicana Field. It's 1-0 Rays over Blue Jays. Runner on first. The 1-2. High and outside.
And top of the 10th on the south side of Chicago. The Tigers just went ahead 7-6 against the White Sox. But Mike Soroka started that game.
Canadian Mike Soroka.
Michael Soroka, Mike Soroka, I don't know.
I actually think he does prefer Michael. 2-2 pitch is fouled back by Vogelbach. Still 2-2.
I just call him Soroka.
He got traded from the Braves over to the White Sox this offseason. Not his best start today with 4 given up in 5 innings, but for him, a guy who's shown some big flashes at the major league level, it's just about staying healthy. He hasn't been fully healthy in a while. 2-2 to Vogelbach. High ball 3. Daniel Vogelbach, a very patient hitter in addition to his power.
Yeah, you can see just how confident he is up there. Doesn't even flinch at that fastball up around the letters. Let's see if he gets a fat one here.
Vladdy with a 3-step lead off first. The 3-2. Vogelbach got it off the handle, popped it up foul territory, first base side. Diaz near the netting, watches it go over and into the seats. Still 3-2. Vogelbach just barely stays alive. One thing people may have seen or may not know about Daniel Vogelbach, he's actually very solid friends with the Blue Jays starter today, Yusei Kikuchi. They were teammates in Seattle and built a pretty big friendship at that point. The 3-2 again. And Vogelbach fights it off again. There's stories of Vogelbach going out for dinner with Kikuchi. This is right when Kikuchi came over from Japan. They would have dinner and talk through Google Translate. And Kikuchi acknowledged that Vogelbach really made an effort to include him early on in his time in North America. 3-2 is grounded foul.
Does Vogelbach speak Japanese? Is
Not to
my question.
my knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
That would be impressive. That is a difficult language to learn.
I couldn't tell you for sure, though. I'll have to ask him next time I see him. Battling here in a 3-2 count with Vladdy on first, 1 out. The pitch. Fly ball to left, charging in a Rosarena into foul territory, makes the catch in the Blue Jays bullpen. 2 outs. Back to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Chris, you yesterday brought up the questionable slide that Rhys Hoskins made into Jeff McNeil that caused the benches and bullpens to clear yesterday, or dugouts and bullpens to clear yesterday. Well, today, one, he got thrown behind by Johan Ramirez of the Mets. Ramirez was ejected, and Rhys Hoskins homered in the game, and the Brewers won. So I think he won the day over the Mets today. First pitch to Dalton Varsho, waved at and missed. Strike 1.
Did you ever see that replay?
I did.
What did you think of it?
I thought what he did was legal.
But was it dirty?
I don't really care. Personally, I could not care less. He does have a history with the Mets, though. He had a 34-second home run trot a couple years ago when he was on the Phillies and they were playing the Mets. The 0-1 is a splitter for strike 2. So I think that was a ticking time bomb a little bit, regardless. Our out-of-town score is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 2 outs, runner on first. 0-2 count against Varsho, who's 1 for 1. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A snap throw to first, but the inning's over. Varsho strikes out. Guerrero dove back in, and Diaz tried to tag him, but it doesn't matter. Varsho's strikeout is the 3rd K of the day for Zach Littell, and it's still 1-0 for the Rays as we're at the middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Everyone dreams of owning their own personal slice of heaven. Now you can, thanks to Fixed Rate Pizza by Pizza Pizza. Until the end of 2024, lock into an extra-large 4-topping pizza at a fixed price of $17.99. No matter how bad food prices get this year, your pizza price stays. So why not say no to surge pricing and yes to fixed-rate pizza? Order now from Pizza Pizza.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
For this life I cannot change. Hidden hills, deep off in the main.
This is George Springer, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. Blue Jays in St. Petersburg at Tropicana Field, taking on the Rays. Yusei Kikuchi out for his 4th inning of work. His pitch to Jose Siri. Ball 1. Kikuchi's given up 4 hits and 1 run through 3 innings, but the tougher thing for him, he's walked 3. Only one of the 4 hits he's allowed has actually gone to the outfield, but he put himself in trouble last inning with a pair of walks with 2 outs. The 1-0 called strike.
I think last inning he just got a little bit away from his game plan of just pounding the bottom of the strike zone. You can see that a lot of his fastballs were arm side high.
1-1 fastball is called strike 2.
And right there, he dots the outside corner with a fastball down in the zone. That's where he needs to stay to be effective.
Kikuchi struck out Siri in the 2nd. Here's his 1-2 in the 4th. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Siri dropped the bat behind him after it, and he looks frustrated picking it up off the dirt. First out here is a swinging strikeout by Jose Siri.
Yeah, Siri's obviously frustrated with the fact that he swung at that pitch. That was just a spinning slider, arm side high. Shouldn't have really swung at that. It wasn't a strike. But sometimes those backup sliders, those spinning sliders, are pretty effective.
The pitch to Rene Pinto. Called strike 1. Pinto playing in his 2nd game of the season. He's the lead catcher now for the Tampa Bay Rays after playing only 63 total games in Major League Baseball before this year. The 0-1 is popped up to 3rd. Clement went back, but now he's coming in just even with the bag. He makes the catch. 2 outs.
Good changeup from Kikuchi right there. 83 miles an hour down in the zone. Well, middle.
But hey, still, it looked like a fastball.
Yeah, when you can take 12 miles an hour off a pitch that looks like a fastball, that's what's going to happen. You're just going to get a weak fly ball or a weak pop up.
There's Yandy Diaz. First pitch is waved at and missed. Strike 1. Diaz 0 for 1 with a walk in the 1st and a ground out in the 3rd. The 0-1. Called strike. Diaz defected from Cuba in 2013. According to the Cleveland Plain Dealer, he actually tried and was arrested twice previously as a 21-year-old before eventually taking a raft to the Dominican Republic. A raft was how he described it. Kikuchi bounces the 2. Got some time with Cleveland, but really got his full opportunity a couple of years ago when he was acquired by Tampa Bay. The 1-2. Outside, 2-2.
Yeah, he's something special, and I'll tell you what, he's built like a truck.
Yeah, he's not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He had 22 home runs last year. He looks like he could be a guy that if he wanted to hit for a lesser average than 330 like he did last year, he could maybe hit 30 homers. The 2-2. Breaking ball, hit on the ground to short. Bichette has it with 2 hands and throws it overhand to first. The first 1-2-3 inning for Yusei Kikuchi comes in the bottom of the 4th. He keeps the Blue Jays in this one. They're down 1-0 as we head to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, feeling good.
Need a dose of sunshine?
Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Or a serotonin boost? Happy Radio is one of many happy extra channels available on the all-new SiriusXM app. Search Happy Radio to start listening to endless feel-good hits.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
How you manage your team day in and day out will be the difference in where you finish in 2024.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Toyota Owners 400 from Richmond Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Yeah.
Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
Radio Network.
Top of the 5th inning, the Blue Jays in St. Petersburg, Florida, down 1-0 to the home Tampa Bay Rays. Third game of this 4-game series. It's a 1-1 split right now. I am Ben Schulman. I'm with Chris LaRue. Here's Ernie Clement to the plate. The pitch. High ball 1. Here in this 5th, we'll take a look at the injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. The 1-0. Called strike. That was way outside. Get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Couple updates today from John Schneider on some guys that are either on the injured list or guys that were just dealing with some small things. The 1-2. Clement hits it hard up the middle, a base hit rolling into left center. First base hit of the season for Ernie Clement and the 3rd Blue Jay knock today. The biggest thing that John Schneider said pregame related to Kevin Gausman, who of course isn't on the injured list but was delayed due to some shoulder fatigue early on in camp. He will start tomorrow in the finale of this series against Tampa Bay. That means Bowden Francis will start the opener against Houston. First pitch to left-handed hitting Kevin Kiermaier. High ball 1. Some other small ones. Not small ones. Some other ones that were more minor updates. Danny Jansen hit off a tee today. He had been taking dry swings yesterday. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. And he had no update on Joey Votto. Also said Jordan Romano continues to play catch. The biggest update he gave on a guy on the injured list is that Eric Swanson threw a side session today off a mound and feels very good. The 1-1. Bounced. Good block by Pinto behind the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. And apparently the plan is maybe one more side, perhaps, and then get him into a game, which likely means get him into a minor league game. The Buffalo season started yesterday. And see how quickly he can get back to the majors from there.
Did he mention how long that process would take from his first game to his first major league game?
He did not. The 2-1, check swing, tapper, foul. Kiermaier unlucky there. It should be a 3-ball, 1 strike count, but because that ball hit his bat as he was trying to hold up his swing, it's 2-2. Littell in the set. The Blue Jays with another leadoff base runner. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Kevin Kiermaier frustrated with that at bat. Obviously, that foul ball on that ball that was way out of the strike zone doesn't help. But he swings through a cutter at the top of the zone just above the barrel, and he's not pleased with himself, that's for sure.
Here's Brian Servin. Ernie Clement with a solid lead off first. We'll see if he thinks about running. The first pitch to Servin is down and in. Ball 1. Servin struck out in the 3rd inning after working a 3-2 count. Struck out looking on a high slider. The 1-0. Servin pounds it into the ground. It's a fair ball in front of the plate. Clement up to second. Servin thrown out to first. So essentially a swinging bunt there. It actually bounced first either on the plate or even behind the plate, but then just rolled into fair territory. Credit to Rene Pinto for sticking with it. And it'll essentially be a sacrifice for Servin, although he does still get the registered at bat there. And now he's 0 for 2.
Yeah, that ball was so close to the plate that I believe Pinto was actually standing on the plate when he fielded that ball, but that ball was in fair territory. He kind of swipes at Clement there.
First pitch is outside to Cavan Biggio, 1-0. Runner on second, 2 outs. Biggio with 1 RBI so far this year. His solo home run in the opener, the 1-0. Outside again, ball 2. A single to the outfield more than likely scores Ernie Clement. The infield, though, shifted to the pull side against Biggio. The 2-0. Fastball right over the heart of the plate, strike 1. Littell shakes off 2 pitches. Now he gets ready for his 71st of the day. Rays still up 1-0. Here's the 2-1. That looked like it was in the zone, but it's called a ball. Ball 3. He did miss his spot, and I would say that was a poor receive by Pinto, who kind of popped up out of his crouch as he caught it at the bottom of the zone. But Biggio, the beneficiary there of a pretty generous call, and now it's a 3-1 count. Here's the pitch. Called strike 2. Biggio was going to throw away the bat. That was at the same height, essentially, as the last pitch. Called a ball, but now it's a full count.
Well, clearly the previous pitch was a strike, but that's why Biggio thought that was a ball, because the previous pitch was called a ball.
He doesn't have a box or anything to look at. Big lead for Clement at second. He wants to score on a single and tie the game. The 3-2 to Biggio. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Waved underneath a slider. He's the 5th Littell strikeout, and halfway through this game, Littell shutting out the Blue Jays. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and you can hear the best matchups and wall-to-wall coverage on NBA Radio Channel 86.
Driving through the rim, got there, lays it up and in!
We're getting you ready for the postseason with our experts all day, every day.
This is what playoff basketball is, man. This ain't about pretty stuff.
Defensively, they have 0 weaknesses.
The NBA postseason starts April 16th, and your home for all the action is NBA Radio Channel 86 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
March Madness is finally here. For the best analysis.
That team is going to be a tough out.
And coverage of the ACC teams and the NCAA tournament. Tune into SiriusXM ACC Radio. From the title contenders to the Cinderella teams, we've got you covered through the national championship in Phoenix.
Holy smokes, what a play by R.J. Davis.
It's all on SiriusXM ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Timberlaw broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 5th inning, Yusei Kikuchi misses inside to Harold Ramirez to go behind 1-0 to start the frame. 1-0 for the Rays over the Blue Jays. Ramirez today 1 for 2 with an infield single and a ground out. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. He tried to hold up on a fastball way above the zone but couldn't hold back. It's 1-1.
And Kikuchi struggled in that 3rd inning quite a bit, but he's quietly put together a pretty solid game.
The 1-1 lands in to make it 1-2. His pitch count in the 80s. Next one will be his 85th. If he can get through this 5th and comes out, I think that's a very successful day. The 1-2. Fouled back. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. And you almost feel for him, too, because, I mean, you don't take blame away from him, but if he doesn't walk those 2 guys in the 3rd, it's probably different. He had 2 outs and nobody on in that 3rd inning. The 1-2 pitch is rolled to first. Guerrero didn't even have to move from his position, gloves it, and stomps on the bag. 1 down. Some interesting news on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard from earlier this morning. Royce Lewis going to the injured list for Minnesota, and because of that, Austin Martin, the Blue Jays' 5th overall pick in 2020, who was the principal piece going over in the Jose Barrios trade to the Twins, was called up today. Wasn't in the starting lineup. Don't believe he's played yet, but he is available for them. That's his first call-up of his career, and the first pitch to Randy Arozarena is strike 1. Blue Jays have Trevor Richards getting loose right now. Kikuchi about to throw his 88th of the day. Ahead 0-1 on Arozarena. The pitch is hit deep to right. Arozarena walking out of the batter's box as he watches it fly over the right field wall. A kiss to the top of the barrel. It's a solo home run for Randy Arozarena, and it's 2-0 Rays.
Yeah, that was an 0-1 fastball, almost right down the middle at 95 miles an hour, and Arozarena puts a good swing on it, just takes it, just doesn't try to do too much. He kind of just sticks the bat out and goes with that pitch. That was a fastball on the outside part of the plate. He's a good player. I think people forget about him.
Had a great first half last year. Hit 16 home runs in the first half. Really slowed down in the second half. But he's come up with a ton of big moments in his career. There's his first home run of the season. A pretty big moment in this game to double up the Rays lead and make it 2-0. Kikuchi remains in. His pitch to Isaac Paredes called strike 1. Here's Kikuchi's next offering. It's lined to short over the leap of Bichette down in left field. And this is getting pretty close to it for Yusei Kikuchi, who's allowed back-to-back base hits, is up to 90 pitches, and has Ahmed Rosario coming up next, who's made really strong contact twice in a row.
Yeah, you can see that Pete Walker's on the phone to the bullpen. This is probably his last batter.
1 out, 1 run in the 5th, and that was his last batter. John Schneider now stepping out of the dugout. Yusei Kikuchi's day is over. 4 1/3, allows 2 runs, 3 walks, and that home run by Arozarena really put him in jeopardy here of not finishing the 5th, which he won't finish. With that, Kikuchi stepping out, Richards coming in. Let's go to baseball control. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check on the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, let's hear from ESPN's Jeff Passan. He was on with Blair and Barker and chatting about what he saw from the Blue Jays early this year.
I think Ben Nicholson Smith is the one who said this. This is the best version of the Blue Jays. They hit, they are clean enough with the gloves, and they pitch really well. I don't think that the Blue Jays are necessarily a playoff team, but this is one of those teams that scares me with predictions because I think there's the greatest variance between wins and losses in the American League in Toronto. I could see them absolutely winning 90-something games. I could see them absolutely winning, in the low 80s. And I don't know which version it's going to be.
That's Jeff Passan on with Blair and Barker from ESPN. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Some scores around Major League Baseball right now. The Orioles lead the Angels 3-1. The Guardians lead the Athletics 5-3. The Nationals ahead on the Reds 2-1, and zeros for the Twins and the Royals. A little bit later on tonight in the NHL, lots of Canadian teams in action, including right now the Oilers up 4-0 on the Anaheim Ducks. 5 minutes to go in the second period. That's available to watch on Sportsnet West and Sportsnet 360. At 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, we'll get a whole bunch of games. Hurricanes at Habs, that's on Sportsnet East and City TV. Senators at Jets, Sportsnet West and City TV. And Leafs at Sabres. Leafs game will be on Sportsnet Ontario Pacific and on the CBC for Hockey Night in Canada. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The right-hander Trevor Richards is into the game with the Blue Jays down 2-0, 1 out, bottom of the 5th, and a runner on first base. Kikuchi's day done after 4 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs so far, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. That 1 runner on base, though, could potentially be on Kikuchi's line, too, if Richards can't hold him there. Second appearance of the season for Trevor Richards, who pitched on opening day and threw a scoreless inning. He deals to Ahmed Rosario, and it's a ground ball foul, 0-1. Trevor Richards more than familiar with this ballpark and this team. He was with the Tampa Bay Rays in 2019 and 2020, actually 21 as well. The 0-1. Popped up, out of play, 0-2. Richards acquired in a trade from Miami to Tampa Bay at the deadline in 2019. Here's the 0-2. Grounded foul again. And then in 2021, in May, he went with Willie Adames to Milwaukee for a trade that sent back J.P. Fireeyes, the reliever, and Drew Rasmussen, the reliever turned starter, who's on the injured list right now for Tampa Bay. 0-2 pitch again, grounded past the dive of Clement, a fair ball down the left field line. Paredes going to third. He'll stop there. Into second, Rosario, who's 2 for 3 and now has a double on his line as well. It's second and third here for the Rays.
And that was just a missed spot from Trevor Richards. He threw that changeup on the inside part of the plate about thigh high. He wanted that ball down, but that was just a missed spot.
Ernie Clement went full extension to try and stop it, but could not. And now this is a pretty big point of the game. The Blue Jays down 2-0, have already given up a run in this 5th. And a single here could really change the complexion with runners on second and third. Infield in, Caballero with a big swing. Kiermaier racing back near the track, makes the catch over the shoulder and underhanded. A run will come in to score as Paredes was tagging. It's a sac fly for Caballero, but it nearly looked like a whole lot more.
Yeah, that was a great play from Kevin Kiermaier, potentially game-saving. You see the rare over-the-shoulder basket catch from Kevin Kiermaier out in left field. The Blue Jays are lucky to just give up 1 run there and not 3.
The Rays, though, plating 2 in the inning here. That will close the day on Yusei Kikuchi, who gives up 3 runs today. The pitch to Curtis Mead. Strike 1. Fastball changeup for Richards. He used a changeup first. Here's his next pitch. It's another change, bounced and then blocked by Brian Servin. Made the 34th Australian player to make the big leagues. Was the only position player last year from Australia to appear in Major League Baseball. Richards turns and fakes a throw to first. The only other Aussie in the major leagues last year was Liam Hendricks. Richards kicks and delivers. Meade takes inside a fastball that ran near his front left arm. Three 3-0 Tampa Bay. 2 outs. Runner on second. Bottom of the 5th. The 2-1. Fly to right field. Springer going right now. Turns around and sprints left and makes the catch to end the inning. But the Rays score 2 runs on 3 hits. The Arozarena homer and the Rosario double, a big part of it, as they take a 3-0 lead. We'll be back in a moment for the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The Fork and Knifer, Splatterer, Condiment Queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important news bulletin. Desjardins Insurance was spotted downtown helping everyone in its path. Unpredictable weather, fallen tree branches, wayward baseballs flying towards second-story windows. Desjardins Insurance is helping Canadians through it all. Is there nothing this large and friendly ally won't do for neighbors in need? Never before have we seen insurance with a heart so big it shows.
Desjardins Insurance, home and auto. Learn more at desjardins.com/heart.
Hey, this is Eric Swanson. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Big time and in a small town.
The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with a heart so big it shows. Visit desjardins.com/heart today. George Springer takes strike 1, and the 6th is underway with the Blue Jays now down 3-0. The 0-1 pitch. Splitter misses low from Zach Littell, the right-handed starter. It's 1-1. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue, and the Blue Jays looking to get some runs on the board here. The 1-1. Fouled off 1-2. Toronto's put the leadoff man on base in 3 of the last 4 innings, but have not done anything with it. The 1-2. Springer fouls it off once again, reached outside and grounded a ball up the third base line. Littell sets and delivers, and Springer shoots the ball to right field. It turns around Rosario, who leaps and makes the play. Mentioned earlier, this is just his 21st career start in the outfield. He might have made that one a little bit harder than it needed to be, but he got the out.
It looked like a play that a regular right fielder probably would have made with ease, but he turned himself around. Actually, those line drives, those low line drives sometimes can eat up outfielders. But still, a little bit of a circus out there from Rosario.
He makes the play, though. Here's Guerrero, the pitch. Hopped up, foul, right side, out of play.
Littell is doing such a good job of hitting the corners. He's just living on the corners all day long. Nothing really fat over the middle of the plate. I mean, clearly, almost 6 innings of work, 3 hits, 5 Ks.
Next pitch to Vladdy is popped up. Shallow center. Siri charging, and it drops in front of him. A bloop single. Looked like he called off Mead, but Mead, the second baseman, was well within range of making that catch. Vladdy will take it, though, and so will the Blue Jays. It's the 4th Toronto hit today.
Yeah, that's one of those scary situations where all the fielders are coming together. Sometimes somebody gets scared and stops running. Siri just gave up on that ball, and it lands right in front of him.
So another hit for Guerrero. He now has hits in all 3 games to start the season. Here's Bo Bichette. Bo fouls it off, 0-1. After 2 solid hits in the opener from Bichette, he's 0 for his last 6 in the last 2 games. The 0-1. Off the handle foul, 0-2. Looks like Littell's day is coming to an end soon. A lefty getting loose right now for the Rays. The 0-2. Outside, ball 1. I believe it's Colin Poche for the Rays warming up down the right field line. Littell shaking off a pitch, nods, peeks over his shoulder at Vladdy at first. Now he kicks and delivers. And Bo hits a ball foul to the right side. That was a fastball nearly right down the middle, but Bichette was late. It's actually double barrel action right now for Tampa Bay. Poche getting loose the lefty, and Phil Maton the righty as well. 1-2 high, 2-2. Blue Jays saw Maton in the season opener. He pitched the 9th inning of that 8-2 win for Toronto. Two-two to Bichette. Loop to right field, and Rosario awkwardly running over, makes a catch on the line, throws it back to first as Vladdy scrambles back in time. Rosario again looked like he had a bit of an adventure finding that ball, but made the play anyway. He has recorded both outs so far this inning. And Daniel Vogelbach is coming up here with 2 down, unless they go to Poche to try and potentially match up left on left.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Poche and then see a Davis Schneider.
I think you can see Turner as well.
Maybe Justin Turner.
John Schneider said today that it could be a half day off for Justin Turner. Vogelbach is 1 for 2. Had a hit for the Blue Jays in the second. He's the only Blue Jay to reach third base today. Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach for Tampa Bay, is out to the mound to talk with both the catcher Rene Pinto and the starter Zach Littell.
Although if Kevin Cash came out to get me, I am not coming out of this game if I'm Littell. 2 outs in the 6th inning. Leave me in that ball game.
He's at 86 pitches, so maybe this is his last guy. Here's Vogelbach looking to change the game with a big swing. Runner on first, 2 outs, 3-0 Tampa Bay, top of the 6th. The pitch is high, ball 1. Another left-handed hitter on deck in Dalton Varsho. Here's the 1-0. Inside, 2-0. Now, let's say Vogelback gets on, then they bring Poche in for Varsho. I think then you certainly see David Schneider. 2-0 is outside, 3-0. Vogelback, one ball away here from reaching for the second time today.
Yeah, he's just so patient up there. Even that pitch right there was a close pitch, but it was on the outside corner. He didn't want any part of it.
The 3-0 offering, called strike one. Vogelback was taken all the way.
The rare 3-0 off-speed pitch from any pitcher.
Yeah, spun a slider to the inside edge. Vogelback open in his stance. The 3-1. He rips it foul to the right side, screaming over the Rays bullpen and into the seats. That foul ball will give Vlad a head start with 3-2 and 2 outs. The runner will be off from first. 3-0 Rays, top of the sixth. Tropicana Field getting louder here. The 3-2. Vlad goes. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Vogelback went chasing after a back foot slider. And that wraps up a very nice day for Zach Littell. 6 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings. He strands Guerrero and keeps the Rays up 3-0. Middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Celebrate the spirit of Easter on SiriusXM. Hear masses throughout the week on the Catholic Channel, including Easter Mass from Rome with His Holiness Pope Francis. Embrace the promise of hope on Joel Osteen Radio.
You are full of resurrection power.
And experience Easter from Israel on the Billy Graham Channel,
where Jesus walked and talked.
Plus exclusive interviews, performances, and music for the occasion on the all-new SiriusXM app. Just search Christian. Celebrate the history of the Masters on Backstory. We explain why Spanish roots run deep at Augusta National, how Tiger's unlikely 2019 win unfolded.
And in! He has done it! Tiger is back!
And Arnie's memorable walk. Listen to Backstory, The Masters, Tuesday, April 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio's Power Alley every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
I got all the confidence in the world in Joe Romano. I've known him for a long time. I know his demeanor. And I always say, when you're talking about a closer giving up a couple runs in the ninth inning, it's just so much more magnified than a starting pitcher giving up a 2-run homer.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Radio Network.
Bottom of the sixth inning, Trevor Richards delivers to Jose Siri for strike one. 3-0 Tampa Bay over Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Siri 0 for 2 has struck out both times today. The 0-1. Hit on the ground up the middle of base hit. Siri around first hard will head back to the bat. The space you all know and love, the WestJet flight deck, continues to be one of the best places in the ballpark to watch the game. The spot with the same great outfield views you've known for many seasons has great food and drink options in the space, shuffleboard tables, arcade games, and live entertainment. Visit BlueJays.com/ticket packs and consider buying a ticket pack today. So a leadoff single for Siri sets up Rene Pinto, who's 0 for 2 himself with a strikeout, and he popped out to third in the fourth. First pitch is low from Richards, 1-0. They'll ask Richards for a little bit of length here, in part because Yusei Kikuchi could not make it through 5 innings. Turning a throw to first, and the ball squirts away from Vlad, but only a couple feet. Some may wonder why they wouldn't go to a Mitch White in this situation for some length, but the thinking is potentially, or the speculation is potentially, that they want to pair Mitch White with Kevin Gausman, who is not fully built up and will start the game tomorrow. Siri stole 2 bases yesterday. He's got a big lead. Richards' pitch is a changeup low, 2-0. The 2-0 is low, 3-0, and Trevor Richards in danger of walking the 9-hitter on 4 pitches before Yandy Diaz comes up.
Yeah, Trevor Richards needs to fight back in this at-bat. He needs to get this guy out. He needs to keep this game close.
Fastball in there for a strike. It's 3-1. 3-0 Tampa. Runner on first, bottom 6. Some more movement in the Baltimore game. We'll check on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard in a sec. The 3-1 pitch is a changeup line to third, and it's caught on the fly by Ernie Clement. He threw it over to second like he trapped it, trying to turn 2, but Clement now smiling. He was just trying to fool the umps. There's 1 down. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard, that 3-1 lead for Baltimore has turned into a 7-1 lead. An Austin Hayes single, a Cedric Mullins double, and then a Jordan Westberg single have plated 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning for Baltimore, and there's still nobody out with 2 runners on for the Orioles. Taking on the Angels as Trevor Richards records that out. His day is done. Jimmy Garcia is about to make his season debut. Before that, let's go back to baseball control. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's continue checking out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. A couple of finals in the books. Brewers beating the Mets 7-6. Rhys Hoskins with 4 RBI for the Brewers today. Brett Beatty with a 3-run bomb. Pete Alonso also going yard for New York in the loss. The other game that is wrapped up, Tigers beating the White Sox 7-6 in extras. 10 innings for that one. Luis Robert Jr. with a pair of home runs for the White Sox. Detroit, meanwhile, getting a number of home runs, including the first of the year from Riley Green. Games going on right now. You heard Ben mention Orioles leading the Angels 7-1. The Braves lead the Phillies 7-4. The Guardians on top of the Athletics 7-3. The Pirates lead the Marlins 5-2. The Nationals trail the Reds 4-2. And the Royals are currently leading the Twins 1-0 in the top of the 7th inning. We'll get a little bit later on. Yankees and Astros, 7:15 p.m. Eastern, 4:15 Pacific. Stroman versus Hunter Brown. Red Sox still on the West Coast take on the Mariners. Cutter Crawford versus Logan Gilbert. 9:40 p.m. Eastern, 6:40 p.m. Pacific, the time of first pitch. Jimmy Garcia now on the mound. Blue Jays baseball brought to you, of course, by Crown Rust Protection. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's the debut of the season for Garcia, who they're going to bring into a big spot here to try and keep this game manageable. Top of the order coming up with Yandy Diaz, Harold Ramirez, and Randy Arozarena, the next 3 to hit. A runner on first, 1 out, and a 3-0 Tampa Bay lead in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, you don't normally bring in a potential closer in the 6th inning, but this is a huge spot in this game with Yandy Diaz coming up and a guy on first base. You have to keep this game close. You have to keep it 3-0.
Garcia, the right-hander, peeks over his shoulder, now delivers, and hits the zone with that massive curveball for strike 1. Third year as a Blue Jay for the 33-year-old from the Dominican Republic. Has pitched 134 times as a Blue Jay. This is 135th, and the fastball's fouled back to make it 0-2. This year, he'll more than likely pass his total number of games that he pitched for the Dodgers, 165, the most he's pitched with any team, and he spent parts of 5 seasons with the Dodgers. He's here in year 3 for Toronto. His 0-2 is a breaking ball spike to the backstop. Siri will jog up to second. It ricocheted back to Brian Serven, but the wild pitch right when it bounced was enough for Siri to get the advance. He's really quick. So now a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Diaz hitless today, 0 for 2, but he does have a walk. The 1-2 pitch. Diaz fouls it off. Garcia unleashed a fastball at 97. Siri was stealing on the pitch, but he'll head back to second.
Yeah, Siri's so good at stealing third base. You can see he was timing up Garcia. Took a couple steps even before Garcia went into his windup. It's a big run out on second base.
Siri has 3 stolen bases already this season. Garcia kicks the leg up, turns around, will not throw, but chases Siri back to the bag. The 1-2. Fastball high. Diaz lays off.
And you do have an open base at first base, so you don't want to throw something down the middle or even close to down the middle, especially with Yandy Diaz up at the plate. Still have to be careful.
The 2-2. Tipped back into the screen. Jimmy Garcia coming off a season in which he had a 4.09 ERA in 73 games. His 2-2 again. He is way up and in 3-2. It was also a year, though, last year for Garcia that started quite poorly and then really turned around June 5th on. From that point until the end of the regular season, he had an ERA below 3. Stranded a ton of runners and was really solid for the Blue Jays. Full count offering fouled back.
And we talked about that yesterday. As you know, a reliever is effective when he's leaving guys on base. Other guys' runs are on base. He comes into a game, inherits those runners, and gets out of it without giving up any of the runs. And Jimmy Garcia is one of the best at it, at least after June 5th of last year.
His payoff again. No, he's going to kick up and turn around once again. It's the 3rd time Blue Jays pitchers have checked on Jose Siri this inning, and now after 2 disengagements, Siri knows that Garcia is not going to try and pick him off. 3-2. Hit on the ground to first. Siri was stealing on the play, so Vladdy will run over to first but keep peeking over at the runner. Siri obviously advances as he had the head start, but Yandy Diaz is retired on that cue shot to first. There's 2 down.
Yeah, really good pitch from Jimmy Garcia. 96 miles an hour in on the hands of a very good hitter. Sometimes it's scary going inside to a hitter like that, but Jimmy Garcia obviously has confidence in that great fastball that he has.
Now trying to retire Harold Ramirez and strand the runner on third. Garcia's first pitch popped up foul territory into the seats. 3-0 Rays, bottom of the 6th inning. Varsho, Clement, and Kiermaier due up for the Blue Jays when they'll bat in the top of the 7th. Likely not against Zach Littell. The 0-1, high, 1-1. Maybe the only benefit of this long inning on defense, if it is Colin Poche who's standing right now on the Rays bullpen coming in, he's just been standing there for a while. The 1-1 to Ramirez, swing and a miss, waved through a breaking ball to make it 1-2.
Yeah, he started getting loose when Littell was still in the ball game, so that was probably 15 minutes ago.
Pitching change in the middle of this inning, and there was a hit, some long plate appearances. Garcia can end it now with a strike. Here's his 1-2. Foul tipped and back into the screen. Actually hit just below that on the barrier. Garcia gets a new baseball, palming it up right now, getting a feel for it. He slips his left hand back into his glove and looks in. He has the call on the pitch com. Here's the 1-2. High fastball. Ramirez didn't bite.
And again, I wouldn't give in to Ramirez right here. I would still be very careful. That run on third base is a very important run in this ball game. Don't give him anything good here.
Garcia delivers home. It's fouled behind the plate. Got him to chase. Had a pitch outside. Servin nodding his head after that one in approval of the location. But just a good job by Ramirez, a great contact hitter, to get a piece of it.
And doesn't that pump you up, even though you're not in this ball game? Doesn't that pump you up when Servin's bobbing his head like that?
The 2-2. Ground ball to third, snared deep in the hole by Clement. Long throw to first in time. What a play by Ernie Clement. He stops that fourth run from scoring on both a beautiful play with the glove and his arm to end the sixth inning. The leadoff base hit by Siri is stranded. It's still 3-0 Rays as we go to the top of the seventh. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on bluejays.com/workfromdome.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Vladdy with a huge stretch for the double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the seventh inning and a new pitcher for the Rays. Colin Poche is in the game. The left-hander making his first appearance of the season, trying to preserve a Rays 3-0 lead. He deals to the left-handed hitting Dalton Varsho and misses low 1-0.
And I think we need to emphasize how great of a play that was from Ernie Clement. Throwing all the way across the diamond, I mean, could potentially have saved this ball game. If he doesn't make that play, that run scores.
The 1-0 is bounced, 2-0. Clement waiting on deck after he had to range into foul territory at the end of the bottom of the sixth and throw all the way across the diamond to beat Harold Ramirez. Jose Siri was on third going in to score at the time. The 2-0 is low. Varsho checked his swing, appeal down to third, and it was no swing, so it's 3-0. The pitch to Varsho. Poche delivers a strike with Varsho taken all the way. Poche's a pretty funky lefty. It's not like he's got an overpowering fastball. That one at just 91, but he throws kind of crossbody. The 3-1, low ball 4. A walk there from Varsho, who's 1 for 2 today now with a walk. He's been aboard twice in 3 plate appearances.
Yeah, that was a great at-bat from Dalton Varsho. A lot of the times when he gets ahead like that, 1-0, 2-0, you'll see him overswing and try to do too much on a ball away, but very patient there, and he's on first base.
So here's Ernie Clement, who just made that great play. He takes way inside, ball 1. We're here in the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. And Justin Turner is on deck in the spot that Kevin Kiermaier is supposed to come up. The 1-0. Check swing on a pitch inside, appeal to first, no swing. 2-0. Colin Poche's thrown 6 balls, 1 strike. Poche is their lead lefty. They use Garrett Clevenger in the opener, but Poche's the lefty they'll use deeper into games. 2-0. Clement expands and fouls off a pitch that might have been ball 3. It's 2-1.
And I'm actually surprised there that Ernie swung at that pitch. Whether he had the green light or not, I'm unsure, but
2-0 fastball off the plate. Probably not the pitch they'd love him to swing at, although he has great contact skills. Here's the 2-1. Clement ropes the ball to left field. That's a base hit. Varsho up to second. Clement in at first. He's 2 for 3 today. And the tying run is coming to the plate in Justin Turner.
And Ernie Clement just continues to look great. I mean, if he continues to impress like this and play like this, how can you keep him out of the lineup?
Especially he plays second, short, third, left, and right field. He's kind of a right-handed version, just in terms of versatility, of Kevin Biggio. He's played the outfield at the major league level. Told me in spring he's comfortable there. He primarily played shortstop in the minor leagues when there was space, although Leo Jimenez actually was there a lot, so it was kind of a mix. But yeah, he's had a great day one, is what I'll say.
Yeah, but he had a great spring training. This is day 40.
Yeah. Genesis Cabrera is getting loose for the Blue Jays, potentially to come in next inning, but Blue Jays will have to see what kind of situation they're in. There's nobody out, first and second, and Justin Turner is pinch hitting for Kevin Kiermaier. Poche's pitch. High, ball 1. Appeal to first on Turner's quarter swing, and first base umpire Derek Thomas says no, he didn't go around.
And Poche hasn't really been close to the zone with most of his pitches.
The 1-0. Called strike at the knees. He's getting used that low 90s fastball almost 2/3 of the time, but the slider that he throws about the other third of the time, that's the pitch that he tends to get a lot of his outs on. Gets ahead with the fastball, gets guys out with the slider. The 1-1, swing and a miss. Turner went fishing after a slider high, and his backswing actually hit the catcher Pinto. Turner turns around and apologizes. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Turner with that big swing, a fastball up around the neck, actually. Didn't have really swung at that pitch, but he has that big backswing. Hits Pinto right on the elbow. Well, like Alejandro Kirk the other day.
They're actually going out to check on him now. Head athletic trainer Joseph Benj and manager Kevin Cash talking to Renee Pinto. He claps his hands, takes his glove back from Cash. He'll stay in the game.
Well, catcher is normally the toughest guy on the field. It's a very hard position to play.
Pinto's just taking a couple warm-up tosses here from Poche, his lefty, to make sure that he feels all right. He does. Turner getting ready to step back in the box. Brian Serven is the next scheduled hitter for the Blue Jays. First and second, nobody out over Toronto. The 1-2. Turner rips the ball to left field. Rosarena freezes, comes in, and makes the catch. Good contact. He just hit it right at Randy Rosarena.
Yeah, that's the best contact that Justin Turner's had all season, albeit a short season, but slider right down. Actually, that was a fastball down the middle, a little bit of a cut fastball, and Justin Turner hits it right on the screws, right out of Rosarena.
So 1 down. Brian Serven remains in the game. He's got some power as well. Here's the pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Pinto had to jump up to keep that from getting to the backstop. Poche still, even when he's been in the zone, but hasn't been in there much, has had really interesting command so far.
Yeah, if I'm Serven, I'm just waiting for him to throw a strike.
The 1-0. Called strike right at the top of the zone, 1-1. Poche originally a draft pick of Arizona in 2016. In the set right now, looking at first, delivers. And Serven hops up a slider at a play 1-2. The left-hander for the Rays made his way to Tampa Bay as a player to be named later, actually, in the 2018 deal that sent Steven Souza the other way. 1-2 pitch. High. Serven tried to hold back his swing. Appeal to first. No swing. There's been 4 appeals this inning. Not once has it worked out for the Rays. That one was close.
That one was probably the closest of all of them.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. went fishing after a low slider. And after the back-to-back base runners, back-to-back outs here for the Blue Jays, there are 2 down. Cavan Biggio remains in the game here against the left-handed pitcher. Biggio batting from the left side. Interesting for Cavan in his career, he's actually hit for a higher average against lefties than he has righties. The first pitch is a breaking ball for strike 1.
Yeah, I like this matchup here. He's so good at taking that curveball or that slider from lefties and hitting it to the left field.
O'Shea dangling his left arm, now tucks it into his glove. He's looking at the runner on second, the 0-1. Biggio fouls it back 0-2. Now Biggio's hit for less power against lefties than righties in his career, but that average about 15 points higher, and he's faced lefties over 400 times, so it's not really a small sample at this point. Here's the 0-2. Biggio with a looper to center field. Siri coming in. It drops in front of him, a base hit, and bounces off the chest of Siri. Varsho in to score. The Blue Jays are on the board on Cavan Biggio's RBI single. It's 3-1.
Such a good piece of hitting from Cavan Biggio. He was down 0-2 in the count. That was a slider, and he just stuck the bat out trying to do anything to stay alive, and he kind of just dumps it into center field. With Cavan Biggio up at the plate, there's always a chance for some contact.
Ernie Clement got to second and stayed there, but the Blue Jays now on the board, and they'll bring up a go-ahead run with a new pitcher coming into the game. George Springer about to come up. Phil Maton will enter, and we'll go back to baseball control with Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll give you an update on some of the games we've been keeping an eye on all afternoon. The Orioles now lead the Angels 12-1, so things going pretty well for Baltimore. At Camden Yards, the Braves lead the Phillies 7-4. The Guardians now lead the Athletics 9-3, middle of the 6, going to bottom 6 right now in Oakland. The Pirates lead the Marlins 9-3. The Reds lead the Nationals 4-3, though the Nationals narrowing the gap there. The Royals still on top of the Twins 1-0. That game in the top of the 8th inning. A little bit later on tonight, a couple of games still coming your way. The Yankees will take on the Astros 15 p.m. Eastern, 4:15 p.m. Pacific. So that's in about an hour's time. That game will feature Marcus Stroman getting the start for New York. That lines him up for the Yankees home opener against the Jays next Saturday. Hunter Brown will pitch for Houston today. Red Sox still out on the West Coast, taking on the Mariners. 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 Pacific, the time of first pitch. Cutter Crawford will go for the Sox. Logan Gilbert makes his first start of the season for the Mariners. A number of games going on right now in the NHL. The Golden Knights just ending things in overtime, 2-1. The Golden Knights beat the Wild after trailing for much of that game. The Oilers absolutely thrashing the Ducks, 6-0. They lead in the third period over the Ducks. Preds at Avalanche, zeros there just a couple minutes in, and Rangers at Coyotes also zeros there a couple minutes in at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, so in about 45 minutes. A lot of Canadian teams get going, including Senators at Jets. 6:30 p.m. Eastern is when pregame gets going there on Sportsnet West and City TV. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the call of the game with Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. The Blue Jays on the board finally. Their first run coming in the 7th. They're down 3-1, but have 2 on with 2 outs. Phil Maton in to face George Springer. First pitch is called strike 1. Springer's 0 for 3 today. 2 ground outs, 1 a double play, and a line out. Hit the ball hard to right field his last time up. The 0-1. Springer fouls it back, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Ernie Clement's on second. Cavan Biggio's on first. Both of them coming up with hits. More hits today coming from the bottom 4 of the order for the Blue Jays than the top 4 of the order. The 0-2. Springer shoots it to right. It's just foul. And a diving stop by the attendant over at the right field bullpen. The whole bullpen up on their feet as the ball boy went all out to get that one.
That was the best play of the day for sure.
One of the bullpen catchers for the Rays was going to go over there, and he said, not so fast. Here's the 0-2. Springer with a drive to center field. Siri coming in, makes the catch, and ends the inning. The Blue Jays get on the board on Kevin Biggio's RBI single. 1 run on 2 hits, 2 left on. Toronto trails 3-1 at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
At our core, who are we? The sum of our parts? Nah, we're more than that. There's nobody like us. At our core, we are built to win. Relentless in our pursuit of greatness. Who are we? Blue Jays to the core.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important news bulletin. Desjardins Insurance was spotted downtown helping everyone in its path. Unpredictable weather, fallen tree branches, wayward baseballs flying towards second-story windows. Desjardins Insurance is helping Canadians through it all. Is there nothing this large and friendly ally won't do for neighbors in need? Never before have we seen insurance with a heart so big it shows.
Desjardins Insurance, home and auto. Learn more at desjardins.com/heart.
Hey, this is Trevor Richards. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays fans, make sure you're at Rogers Center on Friday, April 12th for the golden opportunity to be one of the first 15,000 fans to get your hands on your very own Jose Barrios Gold Glove bobblehead. Celebrate his first Gold Glove win with us. Head to bluejays.com/bobbleheads today to make sure you don't miss out on this exclusive giveaway. Bottom of the 7th, now a 3-1 game, and Genesis Cabrera, the left-hander, is in for the Blue Jays. His first pitch to Randy Arozarena, fouled off, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Chris LaRue. Justin Turner remains in the game after pinch hitting for Kevin Kiermaier. He'll go to third. Ernie Clement, who is at third, will go to left, and Dalton Varsho, who is in left, will go to center. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
I love how Genesis Cabrera just attacks hitters. He doesn't mess around ever. He just comes at him with that 96, 97 mile an hour fastball, slider down in the zone.
Here's 0-2. Back foot slider. Arozarena jumps out of the way. Interesting that the Blue Jays leave in Turner defensively, except now he's guaranteed to bat again because the Blue Jays rallied a little after his plate appearance. The 1-2 is roped to left field, down for a base hit. Clement picks it up on one hop and tosses it back into the infield. Genesis Cabrera is the fourth Blue Jays pitcher to enter the game today. Yusei Kikuchi went 4 1/3. Trevor Richards, Jimmy Garcia, and Genesis Cabrera now coming out of the pen. Isaac Paredes is the batter with nobody out and a runner on first. The pitch. Called strike 1. The Blue Jays just generated some positive momentum, scoring a run. They really got to try and keep this game at 3-1, Chris.
Yeah, that run on that runner on first base is very, very important.
The 0-1. Called strike 2. That looked well outside, but Cabrera gets the benefit.
And again, that pitch has been called a strike all day long, about a ball off the plate. I'm sure they'll tell him after the game that's not a strike. Got to stop calling that one.
The 0-2. Bounce. Good block between the legs by Brian Serven. It's our first sighting of Cabrera this season. Left-hander acquired by the Blue Jays in a midseason trade with St. Louis. The 1-2. Lifted down the right field line. Moving toward the Ray bullpen. It'll land at a play. Blue Jays traded a minor leaguer out of rookie ball to pick up Cabrera. And he has been very solid for them, at least in the half season he played last year following the deadline. The 1-2. Bounced the breaking ball and Serven blocked it again.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to wonder how a team can give up on especially a left-handed reliever that throws 95, 98 miles an hour. He's impressed me, but obviously his walk numbers with St. Louis were a little bit elevated. He's done a lot better job since coming over to Toronto, obviously.
His next pitch is hammered to left field, but foul. That had more than enough to get out of the yard if it stayed fair, but Paredes was too far ahead of it.
Yeah, that pitch from Genesis Cabrera was about middle, about as good as it gets for a hitter. 94 miles an hour, but luckily foul.
Yeah, you mentioned the walks. Cabrera went from over 5 walks per 9 last year with St. Louis to, in his half season with Toronto, just over 2 walks per 9. He'll step and throw over to first to check on Arozarena.
And as we saw earlier today with Kikuchi, when you walk 1-2 guys an inning, chances of those guys scoring is pretty high.
Kikuchi had 3 walks today, gave up 3 runs. Cabrera will step and throw over again. Arozarena can run. He's stolen 20-plus bases each of the last 3 years. He's got a big lead off first now. He leaves on the 2-2. It's outside, and Serven doesn't even throw. He never had a chance.
Yeah.
Once you give up those first 2, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, that was... I mean, Arozarena got an incredible jump. Serven had no chance, obviously not even throwing the baseball.
And for those unfamiliar with the rule put in last year, if Cabrera throws over a 3rd time and doesn't pick off Arozarena, it's a block. The 3-2 swung on a miss. Arozarena takes off for 3rd and gets there safely. A strikeout of Isaac Paredes, but Arozarena has now swiped 2 bags. And overall, I think Kevin Cash will take what just happened on the last 2 pitches, as he's now got a runner on 3rd with just 1 out, and Ahmed Rosario coming to the plate, who's 2 for 3 today with a single and a double.
Yeah, I think having Arozarena, that's a big run over there. The difference between a 3-run lead and a 2-run lead is huge. Ask a closer. Ask Jordan Romano. He'll tell you that.
Infield in for the Blue Jays. Swing and a miss at the elevated fastball. Strike 1. It's a tag play at the plate. Rosario 3 for 4 to start his Rays career. The 0-1. Popped up. Behind first, Springer running in shallow right makes the catch, and that's not nearly deep enough for Randy Arozarena. That's exactly what the Blue Jays needed. Arozarena has to stay at 3rd. There are 2 down, and the infield can go back as Cabrera focuses in on Jose Caballero.
Yeah, that was a perfect execution from Cabrera. A very, very good slider down in the zone. Ahmed Rosario makes weak contact and kind of hits a weak pop-up to shallow right. Now he has to bear down, especially with that open base at first base. You have to be careful with this hitter.
Caballero 1 for 2 today. An infield single on a swinging bunt and a sac fly. First pitch is a backdoor breaking ball for strike 1. Blue Jays have really hamstrung Kevin Cash's ability to go to his bench as the Rays do so often. All 4 guys on their bench hit left, and they have the southpaw Cabrera in do the Blue Jays. His 0-1. Bunt shown, and it's bunted to third. Picked up by Turner. His throw to first, wide and down the right field line. A run comes in to score. Caballero taken off for second. He's headed for third, and the Blue Jays nail him to end the inning. Get him by 10 feet. But the bunt hit, and whoa, Cabrera shoves Caballero. They were going back and forth, and now Bo Bichette's grabbing Caballero to hold him back. Alek Manoah's holding back Cabrera, and both of the dugouts have cleared onto the field.
Wow, that's a scary situation. Actually, watching the replay, nothing really happened. There wasn't any contact until Caballero said something to Cabrera, and Cabrera shoved him. There wasn't a dirty slide, a dirty play.
Hard to know what was said that instigated that, but Cabrera certainly shoved Caballero. A run comes in to score on the play. The inning is over, and both of the dugouts are still on the field. Cabrera has walked off the field into the Blue Jays dugout, and now everyone's starting to clear. No one else really got involved in any tussling. It wasn't a larger confrontation, but
no, there wasn't anything obvious that happened until Caballero said something to Cabrera that he didn't like. They kind of...
I'm looking at another look. Cabrera walked up and hit him in the stomach first. He did. He walked up after Caballero got to third and bumped him when the inning was over.
Well, it was kind of a harmless bump.
It was a completely unnecessary bump. Why is he bumping him? The inning's over. The dugout's the other direction.
Unnecessary, but is it warranted to shove him? No.
Definitely. And Cabrera responds with a shove right to the face as well.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the league thinks in terms of discipline later. But for now, the inning is over. It's 4-1 for the Rays after that bunt was thrown down the left field line. Still some conversation, but not a whole lot of activity on the field. The 7th ends with a bang. We'll head to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with no second thought. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning. It's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, NBA Radio is your home for the best 24/7 hoops talk.
LeBron, 3 for the tie. It's good!
Hear nonstop talk from our experts every day and the best games every night as we get you ready for the playoffs and the quest to raise the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets are finally NBA champions.
Don't miss a moment on SiriusXM NBA Radio, Channel 86, in the car, and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 8th inning in St. Petersburg, Florida. Yenisys Cabrera has been tossed out of the game after he and Jose Caballero were in each other's faces, and Cabrera delivered at least one, if not two, separate shoves to the shortstop of the Rays. He headed down the tunnel and back into the clubhouse. Caballero remains in the game, and in fairness, didn't really engage in any physical contact at least.
We disagreed at first, but then I got the chance to see the replay 3-4 times, And clearly Cabrera instigated everything. Even a shove to the neck and the face area. I don't know what's going to happen from him, but Michael Hill will have a look at that at the league office.
Here comes Jason Adam into the game now for the Rays. It's 4-1 for Tampa Bay. The first pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is inside, ball one. The play that made it 4-1 for the Rays, a bunt single by Caballero was ruled with an error on Justin Turner. The 1-0. Called strike one. And the Blue Jays all of a sudden find themselves here in a 3-run hole once again.
I wonder if Caballero looked over at third base and saw Justin Turner standing there, realized he's a guy that doesn't really play third base much anymore.
Swing and a miss, strike two.
Saw a good chance. That's kind of a cerebral way of playing the game. If you can look over there and see that Justin Turner isn't the guy that he used to be and lay down a bunt.
Whether it was his or Kevin Cash's decision, I have to imagine it played a factor. I don't know that for sure, obviously. Guerrero 1 for 2 today with a walk. Singled last time he was up. The 1-2 from Adam. Outside, ball two. But the Blue Jays left Turner in. They pinch hit Turner last inning, but then with their rally a little bit, it made Turner guaranteed to hit again. So they decided to pick offense over defense, which most teams do when they're down. And it could have cost them there potentially. 2-2, waved at and missed. Vladdy went chasing after a breaking ball down and away. He strikes out for the first out.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, that's a big run. It's a big difference. 4-1's a big difference. And to have a guy that is not a defensive liability, because he's not a bad defender, he's just not the defender he used to be. To have a guy out there in a big part of the game, I don't know. I don't know what John Schneider is thinking. I don't know.
Well, I think he's thinking offense. Because Justin Turner's due up in the ninth. First pitch to Bichette is down and away 1-0. Now, I think it's fair to disagree with it, but I think that has to be the reasoning. He's not putting Justin Turner out there because he thinks he's a better defender than Ernie Clement at third.
No. Of course not. But I'm just saying, I'm just questioning whether he should have actually left him in the game.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. The other option would have been Clement at third, Davis Schneider in left.
And that's probably the option that I would have gone with.
Here's the 1-1 to Bichette. He hits it on the ground up the middle. Caballero, the shortstop, whizzes it over to first. 2 down. A Blue Jays game isn't the same without a hot dog, so why miss out? The Schneider's Porch offers delicious dogs and a great view of the ball game. Located in the fun-filled outfield district, there's no better place to watch your Blue Jays with your friends and family. Head to bluejays.com/outfield district. Start planning your visit for only $20. Daniel Vogelbach is up with 2 outs and the base is empty. 4-1 for the Rays, top of the 8th. Here's the pitch. Vogelbach takes inside, ball 1. Second day in a row, the Blue Jays are seeing Jason Adam. He pitched the 9th inning of the Rays' victory yesterday. Not that many guys go back-to-back this early in the season. The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. But he is the typical setup man for Tampa Bay, and Pete Fairbanks potentially could be next, their closer, who's yet to debut this year.
Yeah, and he's tough. He is a tough closer.
1-1 pitch, called strike 2. Tim Meza and Nate Pearson warming up for the Blue Jays. The 1-2 pitch. Vogelbach hits a high fly ball to center field. Jogging over to left center, it's caught by Siri to end the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3, and the Rays will have one more shot here at Insurance. Up 4-1. The bottom of the 8th is next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The fork and knifer, splatterer, condiment queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important news bulletin. Desjardins Insurance was spotted downtown helping everyone in its path. Unpredictable weather, fallen tree branches, wayward baseballs flying towards second-story windows. Desjardins Insurance is helping Canadians through it all. Is there nothing this large and friendly ally won't do for neighbors in need? Never before have we seen insurance with a heart so big it shows.
Desjardins Insurance, home and auto. Learn more at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Bottom of the 8th inning in St. Petersburg, the Rays lead 4-1. Tim Meza takes over for the Blue Jays, the left-hander who last pitched on night 1 of the season. Meza's got the bottom of the order: Curtis Mead, Jose Siri, Rene Pinto. The pitch. Fouled off by Mead. 0-1. Curtis Mead rolled a single past Bo Bichette in the first inning, then grounded into a fielder's choice to end the third and flied out to end the fifth. The next pitch is low, ball 1.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Nate Pearson's not in this ball game. I'd love to get him in a game like this, get him some confidence. He's a guy that could be important to the back end of this bullpen. So a game like this, down by 3 late in the game, get him in there, get him some confidence.
The 1-1. Hit in the air to center field. Varsho calling off Clement, makes the catch, 1 down. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. Series finale for the Blue Jays coming up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Kevin Gausman will take the mound for Toronto. The expectation is that the left-hander Tyler Alexander will go for Tampa Bay, but he could start. He could have an opener in front of him. Pitch to Jose Siri is a slider for strike 1. The 0-1 fouled back, 0-2. Meza came in the Blue Jays season opening win and pitched a scoreless 9th inning. His 0-2 upstairs, ball 1. He faced Jose Siri in that inning, the guy he's up against now, and got him to ground out to second. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Maybe the Blue Jays go into Meza because potentially they planned to stick with the lefty Cabrera before he was ejected from the game. 2-2 is inside, 3-2. Not sure, just speculating. (3-2) outside, ball 4. Meza went ahead and then walked Siri there to put a runner aboard.
You can see just how frustrated Meza is. That's the last thing you need to do in a 4-1 ball game in the 8th inning is walk that guy. He's not really pounding the zone right now. He's kind of nibbling around the outside of the strike zone, but he needs to pound that zone down with that good fastball. Get back to the dugout.
Here's Rene Pinto. The pitch. High ball 1. Meza was ahead 0-2 on series, thrown 5 straight balls, all with the fastball. Is 1-0? No, he's going to step and throw over to first. Siri back. And Siri don't want to walk either. He's run all over the Blue Jays so far in this series. .0 pitch. High ball 2.
And he's thrown 3 or 4 fastballs in a row, arm side high. He's trying to be too quick with that front leg. He needs to really get back on that back foot.
Velocity also looks down. Here's a slide step and a slider that misses down and in. 3-0. He's thrown 7 straight balls. The top of the order is about to come up. The 3-0. In there, strike 1. Pinto's 0 for 3. Hit 1 ball hard today on a line out to third in the 6th inning, but otherwise a strikeout and a lazy pop fly to third. 3-1, swing and a miss. Fastball just at 89 for Meza, who usually sits around 92, 93, but he's got a full count.
That's concerning. And I know it's early in the season, but when you see a guy that's normally 92, 94 miles an hour throwing 89 mile an hour heaters, that's not a good sign.
He'll step and throw to first. Now he's used both disengagements, and Siri knows he's almost certainly not going to throw over again. Siri leaves on the pitch. And it's a broken bat looper to left field, a base hit. It gets by Clement. Or no, it just bounced off of him. He'll rein it in, but Siri easily gets all the way to third on that one, and there are runners on the corners with 1 out.
Yeah, having a guy like Siri that can run all over the field, it's so important to an offense. I would love if Dalton Varsho can get to be that type of player, just running all over, putting a lot of pressure on the defense. Looks like he's having fun out there is the best part of that.
Siri was taken off on the pitch, actually stopped at second and then speeded up again, and that ball popped out of the glove of Clement, nearly went behind him. But he picked it up and tossed it back in to limit the damage, although in this 4-1 game, more damage could be done. Yandy Diaz is up. He's 0 for 3 with a walk, and there are 2 runners on base, 1 on first, 1 on third. Meza's pitch. Line foul to the right side, 0-1.
Fastball at 92 there. That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's the usual velocity for the left-hander, Tim Meza.
Yeah, even mid-season you'll see him up 94, 95 too.
Next pitch is a slider low, 1-1.
But it could take some time for him to get back to that form because he was pretty overworked last year.
The 1-1. Line drive to right. Springer makes the catch, fighting off the glare of the lights. Siri will jog home. It's a sacrifice fly, and now a 5-1 lead for the Tampa Bay Rays.
And that's why it's so important to have guys that can swipe bags like that. If Siri didn't steal second or didn't attempt to steal second, he's standing on second base right now.
Maybe why it's so important too to not use your 2 disengagements, because then guys know you can't pick off anymore.
Even Vogelbach could steal a base if he knows you're not coming over.
Runner on first, 2 down. The pitch to Harold Ramirez, fouled back 0-1. But in the 7th and in the 8th, runners were able to get extra real estate because both disengagements were used by different pitchers. The 0-1 down 1-1. But both lefties, which is odd too, because even for big runners, running on lefties is pretty tough to get a good jump.
Yeah.
Harold Ramirez is 1 for 4. The 1-1 pitch is called strike 2 at the top of the zone. (5-1) for the Rays. Blue Jays will have Varsho, Clement, Turner up in the 9th. Meza spikes his slider, and it's blocked by Shervin. He's done a pretty good job today behind the plate, keeping balls in front of him.
Yeah, and he's looked great. He instills confidence in the pitchers is what I like. He's always positive back there, pounding his glove, nodding yes to all the pitches that he's calling.
The 2-2. Called strike 3. Meza freezes Ramirez and ends the 8th. The Blue Jays, though, give up another run on 1 hit. It's a sac fly from Yandy Diaz to make it 5-1 Rays. Last chance for Toronto when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Wow, this is a moment for me. From 70s disco divas to today's viral sensations. Hey, it's Kylie Minogue. To celebrate Women's History Month, I'll be spotlighting my career as well as the iconic ladies of dance music. SiriusXM's Women of Dance. Hosted by me. For a limited time on Channel 107 and year-round on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays down 5-1. They'll need a big comeback here as we are about to start the top of the 9th inning. Pete Fairbanks, the closer for the Rays, in a non-save situation, making his first appearance of the season. It's his 2nd year as a closer after 25 saves for the Rays last year. Fairbanks starts with Dalton Varsho, the left-handed hitter. Here's the pitch. Low ball 1, a heater at 99. Fairbanks will go about 50-50 fastball slider. The slider in the high 80s, the fastball in the high 90s. Can touch 100. The 1-0. Drops that slider in at 85. It loops more like a curveball, but it's a slider grip.
And that is a tough pitch. It's almost like a 12-6 curveball, but it's a slider at 89 miles an hour. Or sorry, 85 miles an hour.
His 1-1. Fastball fouled back, and he's ahead of Varsho now. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
98 miles an hour in on the hands. Man, Fairbanks is tough. He is a tough closer.
Only gave up runs in 8 of his 45 appearances last year. He's working with a 4-run lead. The 1-2. High, ball 2. It's a chance he was going to be the closer full-time in 2022, but he injured a lat muscle in spring, missed about half the year. Came back last year, though, to pick up 25 saves. 2-2 pitch. Varsho fights off that slider. Dropped a little bit below the knees, but nice from Varsho to stick with it.
Yeah, that's tough to even make contact on that pitch. 99 mile an hour fastball up around the eyeballs, and then he comes back with that slider at 86 down a little bit out of the strike zone. For Varsho to make contact is a miracle.
Varsho 1 for 2. Singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, walked and came around to score the only Blue Jays run in the 7th. Fairbanks' pitch. Checked his swing. He did go around, strike 3, and home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez making a demonstrative call as that rolled away. So Varsho didn't know if he was out or not and couldn't run down to first in time, which is an interesting way to cap off his interesting game. 1 out.
Well, Manny Gonzalez is having an off night tonight, that's for sure. He's missed numerous strike calls.
I understand if you're striking a guy out and it's a drop third strike, just point at him right away. Don't give a whole. I don't mind the theatrics a lot of the time, but let him have a chance. Not really the point. Anyway, Ernie Clement takes a pitch low, 1-0.
Sounds like it's been a frustrating day for you as well. Watching him all day long.
I got no stakes here. 5-1 lead for the Rays. Base is empty. 1 out, top of the 9th. The pitch to Ernie Clement is fouled back 1-1. Been a strong day for Ernie. 2 hits and 3 trips to the plate. Had a nice defensive play at third base as well to end the 6th inning. 5-1 for the Rays here. The 1-1. Clement hooks a ball foul, 1-2.
And he's so good at making contact. I know we've talked about that at length over the last 40 days or so, but he's so good. Even with that curveball or the slider that Fairbanks has, he makes contact with it almost with ease.
1-2 pitch. And he fouls off a fastball. Clement struck out once in the spring. Fairbanks cupping his left ear to listen to the sign for the pitch comm. And here's his 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Actually hung that slider, but it was so high Clement couldn't reach up to it. Back-to-back strikeouts bring the Blue Jays down to their final shot. Here comes Justin Turner. Turner lined the ball hard when he came in to pinch hit in the 7th, but it was right at Randy Arozarena. He's 0 for 1. The pitch sailed to the backstop, 1-0. Blue Jays just did not get much going offensively today. 6 hits for Toronto, and only brought runners even to third base twice. The 1-0. Turner hits it on the ground to short. This should do it. Caballero up with it, throws over to first, and that's the ball game. The Rays ensure at least a series split with a 5-1 victory. And after an 8-run start to the season, the Blue Jays have only scored 3 the last 2 days.
Yeah, the bats were pretty silent today outside of Ernie Clement, but we heard Brian Anderson being interviewed before the game, and he was talking about the fact that Zach Littell could be a difference maker or even an all-star with this Tampa Bay Rays team, and he proved today that he's well on his way to being that all-star. He threw 6 innings, didn't give up a run, and he looked pretty confident all day long. I know we talked about the fact that his stuff is relatively average, but a la Chris Bassett, he knows exactly what to do with those pitches in counts that he throws off-speed pitches and fastball counts, fastball and off-speed counts. He's a guy that I want to watch the rest of the season. Could potentially be a guy that you see in that All-Star game.
He was really, really good today. Shut down the Blue Jays to bring Tampa Bay to 2-1 and Toronto to 1-2. The game is done. We are not, though. Stick around. We'll recap it after we come back and then send you off to Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on BlueJays.com/workfromdome.
At our core, who are we? The sum of our parts? Nah, we're more than that. There's nobody like us. At our core, we are built to win. Relentless in our pursuit of greatness. Who are we? Blue Jays to the core.
Everyone dreams of owning their own personal slice of heaven. Now you can, thanks to Fixed Rate Pizza by Pizza Pizza. Until the end of 2024, lock into an extra-large 4-topping pizza at a fixed price of $17.99. No matter how bad food prices get this year, your pizza price stays. So why not say no to surge pricing and yes to fixed-rate pizza? Order now from Pizza Pizza.
Order pizzapizza.ca. We was waiting for. Ooh, there go the youngin'.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays fall 5-1 at Tropicana Field and are now 1-2 on the season. Back-to-back dominant wins by the Tampa Bay Rays as Toronto searches for some offense here after that 8-run performance to open the year. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Toronto today threw Yusei Kikuchi, who went 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. His command from the jump a little bit, Chris, you said you were watching it, and it seemed to be a little bit in and out, specifically hurting him in the third.
Yeah, his fastball was arm side high a lot today, and I think that I've seen him enough over the last couple of years where I know that he's going to have a great game when he's dotting that fastball down and in to righties or down and away to righties. But today he was just up and away, pitch after pitch, and I think that caught him in trouble. He walked some guys and gave up some key hits, but for Yusei to have a great year, a lot like he did last year, he'll have to mix in that changeup because it's a feel pitch. When you can locate that changeup down in the zone, I feel like the fastball will come after that. So for him to be successful for the rest of the year, I think that he has to throw his changeup more. He has to throw his changeup for strikes. Today he did it. He showed the changeup, but I think that he needs to throw it more.
Zach Littell on the other side, very, very strong for the Rays. He went 6 scoreless innings, 4 hits, did walk 2, but struck out 6. The only inning he really got in any trouble was the second when he gave up hits to Vogelback, his first as a Blue Jay, and then Dalton Varsho back-to-back. But immediately he turned a double play off of Ernie Clement's bat and would get Kevin Kiermaier to strike out, ended that inning. Blue Jays wouldn't score until the 7th when Varsho walked. Clement hit him over, and then Biggio hit him in. But before that, the Rays got on the board in the 3rd and would score the eventual go-ahead run in the 5th with 1 out, the base is empty, and Randy Arozarena at the plate. Kikuchi about to throw his 88th of the day. Ahead 0-1 on Arozarena. The pitch is hit deep to right. Arozarena walking out of the batter's box as he watches it fly over the right field wall. A kiss to the top of the barrel. It's a solo home run for Randy Arozarena, and it's 2-0 Rays.
Yeah, when you have a guy like Littell as dominant as he was today, I feel like even a solo home run is a little bit of a backbreaker, and that home run to Arozarena kind of took the wind out of the sails for the Blue Jays. You could tell that even at 2-0, the game was essentially over at that point. I've said this a few times. Littell was really, really good today, but the Blue Jays offense needs to make better decisions when they're up at the plate. They need to swing at pitches that they can hit instead of swinging at pitchers' pitches.
The Blue Jays would only score that 1 run. The Rays would go on to add another in that inning, knock out Kikuchi in the 5th. Scored 1 in the 7th off a bunt single by Jose Caballero. After the Blue Jays had scored, it was 3-1 at one point. Then Caballero bunts in a run, And the play actually ends up getting Genesis Cabrera ejected as well as he shoves Caballero after the inning was over. And Tim Mazur would come in for the 8th and surrender one as well. Toronto loses 5-1. Tampa Bay scores 5 on 11 hits. No errors, leaves 9 on the Blue Jays. 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error, 6 left on. Littell with the win to go to 1-0. And Kikuchi with the loss to go to 0-1 on a 2-hour, 44-minute game in front of about 19,000 inside Tropicana Field. The Blue Jays will look to get back on the winning side tomorrow. And, hey, they have the best guy on the mound to try and do it. Kevin Gausman makes his 2024 debut for Toronto coming up at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific tomorrow. Hope that you can be there with us, and hope that you enjoyed this one today. For our producer, Nick Blackmore, and our technical director, Tom Young, as well as our host, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great afternoon or evening, and stick around because Jays Talk with Show Ali and Julia Kreutz starts right now.
Well, Julia, despite the calendar now reading 2024, a result very reminiscent of 2023, a low-scoring affair for both teams, but the Jays offense, MIA for the second straight game. This one, a 5-1 loss to the Rays, and now 3 runs scored in the last 2 games combined after 8 runs scored in the season opener. So you've kind of gotten some good and maybe a little more bad from the Blue Jays offense through 3 games this year.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see that flip-flopping, right, Show? We got started with the season here in a very, very good note, seeing a lot of what the Blue Jays had talked about pretty much all spring training long immediately taking into effect here, right? Simplifying the approach, pulling the ball, making sure that you're staying on pitches that are hittable and not giving any pitchers easy outs. That's what we saw on opening day, and it was very, very encouraging after a full offseason and a preseason in which, the Blue Jays pretty much just reasserted that they are trusting these guys. They are trusting this core. They are trusting what they have in place, and rightfully so when you look at projections and all of that. But at this point, Show, the projections matter very little. What matters is can they actually get it done on the field? And it has been a little bit disappointing to see what the Blue Jays have managed to produce over the past couple of games. Not a single extra base hit today, Show, and that'll catch up to you fast, even especially against a team like the Rays, which is extremely scrappy. And one thing that they do have is just this never-ending depth of pitching. And again, we saw that today here, Show.
Yeah, 6 hits, all singles today, and the Blue Jays managed to scratch out 1 run in a 5-1 loss. I find it hard to blame Jays fans for not giving the team the benefit of the doubt after what we saw for much of last year, which is, let me tell you, the tenor of the text line right now. That's Julia Kreutz. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk. We are live on sportsnet.ca, on the Sportsnet app, and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cellular device. You can shoot us a text, as always, 590-590. Name and location, the people's text line, as I like to say, is always open. I'm sometimes asked, Julia, why, Blair doesn't take text, but you do, Show. And my only answer to this is a philosophical one, which is more along the lines of, I'm a millennial, and I am therefore predisposed to enjoy texting. I barely pick up the phone as it is. Like, it infuriates my parents and my older relatives. Like, my 85-year-old uncle pretty much refuses to speak to me unless I actually call him on the phone. So, but I am happy to take people's calls on Jays Talk because that is the essence of the show. But I do enjoy sprinkling in the text line as well.
Absolutely. It's funny because my parents actually complain that I never, ever answer their texts. And if they want to talk to me, they need to actually call me.
Okay.
In which case, I assume there is some sort of medical emergency, and then you better believe I'm going to pick up the phone, right? So we all have our methods when it comes to parents and sons and daughters and things of that nature. But it's fun to get to know you a little bit more, Show, as well in that sense. And now I know if I need to reach out to you how to do it.
Yes, don't call me. Just text me. But that's only for you. If you're listening right now, certainly feel free to give us a call. Again, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the text line real quick because this was something I again, we alluded to it right off the top, and I find it hard to blame anyone for thinking this way. Gus from Surrey, who needs a time machine? This Jays team has me feeling like I'm stuck in 2023. Donnie Baseball as the first quote-unquote offensive coordinator in baseball. Someone needs to tell Shapiro and Atkins that we aren't playing football. It's funny because, I mean, you and I did Jays Talk. You know, we've done a bunch over the last couple of years.
Right.
And I feel like I've spent a lot of time saying there's no such thing as an offensive coordinator in baseball. And then they make this position with offensive coordinator as the title for Don Mattingly. And then it felt like it paid immediate dividends in game 1 when they scored 8 runs. And then just like not a lot since. You haven't seen a lot of consistent results offensively. And yeah, there have been some things I've liked. Like certainly George Springer's at 2 home runs in the first 2 games. Again, nothing today. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I liked his approach at the plate, but again, he's not hitting at 450-foot bombs every day, so it hasn't really factored into the last couple of games results-wise. So like you can't, there is some good there, but I have no issue with people saying, hey, like this is very reminiscent of 2023.
Absolutely. And obviously we're 3 games in. No one is panicking. No one is making any rash decisions based on what we have seen, especially in the past couple of games. I do believe that there is tremendous value in having a guy like Don Mattingly just focus on offense for your team and figuring out the best way not only to strategize but also to pass along these messages to players, right? He's the guy that has done it at a very high level and successfully so. And it seems like when you see him speaking to players in the dugout or in spring training, he was constantly in contact with these Blue Jays hitter in the cages with them and all of that. It's very clear that he knows what he's doing here, and he has a pretty good sense of what it is that this team is trying to accomplish individually as well as collectively. So it's important not to overreact, Show, but when you see just the complete lack of offense that we have seen, especially today, it can also get easy to catastrophize a little bit. This is a difficult division. It's not getting any easier, and each game is going to matter here, especially against a division rival like the Rays.
Yeah, in theory, I know it's early in terms of the standings updates. Like, I don't know, standings updates mean nothing until probably after the All-Star break, really. But there's a good chance that if the Red Sox win today and the Yankees win today, then the Blue Jays will be at the bottom of the AL East because the Yankees have beaten the Astros twice, so they're at the top of the AL East. The Orioles, last I checked, they were up by they're up 12-1 or something on the Angels. So I'm going to go on a limb and say the Angels did not come back to win that game without checking. So the Orioles going to be 2-0 as well, and then you have the Rays who are now 2-1, Blue Jays who are now 1-2, and the Red Sox were 1-1. So if they beat the Mariners today, could be something you don't want to see when you look at the standings. Let's go to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Eddie in Fort Erie. Eddie, get us started here on Jays Talk. What's up, man?
Not much, Joe and Julia. Thanks for taking my call on the first Jays Talk of the year in the regular season. I appreciate it.
Yeah, what's up?
Opinion. The second thing is the incident that led to Cabrera's ejection and possibly a suspension. I don't understand why you have to pinch hit bring Justin Turner in with possibly 2 when you're down like what was it, 3-1 or something?
I think it was 3-0 when Turner was pinched.
Okay, 3-0. Yeah. Okay, I would have been okay if you brought him in to when you're down 3-2. Then okay, I can do that because now you have 2 more innings to play with, and the Rays just tested. Decided to test Turner, and he made a wide throw. And then, which led to a run, and then the runner for the Rays gets tagged out of third, and that led to Cabrera getting ejected. And I blame that on Snyder for doing that. You have to realize who you're facing and knowing what they're going to do to get under your skin. And ultimately, it got underneath Cabrera's skin. He got ejected, and he might face a suspension. That was very, very bad managing, in my opinion.
Hey, Eddie, appreciate the call, man. Thanks for joining us here on Jays Talk to start at least our half of Jays Talk off. Okay, so a couple things there. We'll get to Kikuchi in a sec, just because I want to have a longer conversation about Kikuchi's start today. But on Justin Turner and then the Yenesis Cabrera scuffle with Jose Caballero, So Justin Turner, I do understand why you bring in Justin Turner at that point, right? You got runners on. I think it was first and second at the time. You bring on Justin Turner. In theory, even if you haven't seen it so far this season, in theory, that's his role, is to drive in runs, right? Because he bats fourth most of the time. They pinch it Kiermaier for him, and then you get the result you got. And it's unfortunate because he stung the ball. He just hits it on a line drive right to Randy Arozarena's glove, and it's an out. It was like 105 miles an hour. Again, doesn't matter because there was no result of it. But I do understand why you bring in Turner. I didn't like the fact that they then put him at third base because, I don't know, like you really want, I don't know how Justin Turner is, 39 years old. Do you really want someone who didn't play a lot at third base last year, playing a lot at third base going forward? I do think that did lead to some aggressive base running, perhaps, because it's a guy who probably is not moving out there a lot. I don't know that I would agree with Eddie's point of tying Justin Turner's presence to Cabrera losing his cool, though. Like that was, I find all of that. I don't know where you fall on the Yenesis Cabrera scuffle with Caballero, but I don't really draw a parallel line between those two things.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting point when you consider that not even during spring training did we see Turner play a ton of third base, maybe 1 or 2 reps, and that was pretty much it. I mean, the Blue Jays pretty much, liked what they saw in that limited time, and they thought that he would be able to, and he is able to handle third base, right? He is a guy that has kept himself in pretty good shape, and he knows what he's about. The errant throw there is an unfortunate situation for sure, but there's really no way of knowing if it would have been any different if anyone else was at third. That was a difficult play to begin with. That said, when it comes to the Cabrera stuff, I think we can all agree that was pretty much uncalled for, right? There was really no need to do that. I understand that sometimes,
Cabrera.
Yeah, for sure, from Cabrera himself. It's sometimes the game will get under your skin, and you are going to react. But this is, I believe, what separates the good from the great, or the perennial major leaguers to good pitchers from time to time, is the ability to let it go. Right? When you are confronted with a frustrating situation, with an intrusive thought, or whatever it may be, with a taunting opponent, or whatever, the ability to just let it go is a big part of what makes a major league pitcher great. And we didn't really see that from Cabrera today. Does that mean that he's no good and the Blue Jays should get rid of it? No, of course not. He has his value on this team for sure. He has a very important role, and he has proven that he can do it. But this can also be perhaps an opportunity to reevaluate just some of the mentality on the mound and sticking to the task at hand, right, Sho? Because at the end of the day, what the Blue Jays are trying to do here is win a championship.
I don't know. The Cabrera thing, maybe he did go over to third to cover third, in the back of his mind, because no one was there and Bo was kind of hustling after Caballero, to make the play. So he was kind of behind him. There was no one else there. And that does tie into Eddie's point about Justin Turner. But it does make me wonder, what could Caballero have possibly said to him to warrant such a reaction, right? Because he kind of jammed him a little bit. It was a very glancing blow. It didn't seem particularly consequential. And then he gets the reaction he gets. And I don't know, baseball fights are also just the funniest things I've ever seen. Maybe it's because, you watch a hockey fight, for example, or some kind of, in different sports, different fights. And sometimes in baseball, you get Jose Ramirez versus Tim Henderson. And then sometimes today you get what you get. Again, I just find it hard to place most of the blame anywhere but Cabrera. To Eddie's point about suspension, though, let's just say he gets suspended, right? I don't think he will, but you never really know. Maybe it's a 1-game suspension. Who knows? But let's say he gets suspended. For a bullpen that's already being taxed, we don't have Eric Swanson. There was some positive news with him. He threw a bullpen session, and is not that far away from facing live batters. So that's good to know. Jordan Romano's still about playing catch, so they're a little further away, but they're not available is the point, right? So they're not available. Let's say Cabrera is now not available. That's a pretty thin. It was already thin, and now it's even thinner. And It's unfortunate that it's not injuries are obviously a whole other conversation, but it's unfortunate that he kind of put himself in that position by reacting the way he did.
And Cabrera hadn't thrown a super high amount of pitches there. He was probably or potentially a candidate to go back out and give the Blue Jays a little bit more length, knowing that this club is spread so thin right now, not only in the bullpen, but also in the rotation. Kevin Gausman, who gets to start tomorrow, is not stretched out all the way.
Right.
You can't expect him to throw 100-plus pitches in 7 or 8 innings here. It's just not feasible for where he is right now in his preparation. Yusei Kikuchi does not manage to get out of the 5th inning, so you are already missing out on length with him too. And then you turn to your bullpen. These are the guys that now need to carry the Blue Jays through. Wes Parsons did a tremendous job of that yesterday. He pretty much kept the Rays at bay, a little bit of trouble here and there, but he gave the Blue Jays, I believe it was 3 innings of relief pitching there. And that is exactly what the team needed because Chris Bassett couldn't go as far as he would have liked to go. And so this is the job of this bullpen right now without Jordan Romano, without Eric Swanson, and then also looking at the rotation and where it is right now. There's a lot riding on this first week or this first turn through the rotation. We don't know where things are going to fall next week or when the Blue Jays come home. And so the more these guys can manage not only to keep their stuff present on the mound, but also to keep their cool, this is what the Blue Jays are going to need from them.
416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones. Adam in North York joining us here on Jays Talk. Adam, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is that I cannot stand this long road trip at the front of the season. They could end up coming home maybe 2-8, and the season will be over. This is the hardest, the hardest division in baseball, and to have, I know it's all because we've got to make sure that the Rogers Center is happy.
Well done.
But I just don't agree with it. I just think it's a huge mistake. It was a mistake to let it go. And we're going to pay, and I don't own the team. They're going to pay. And then I'd also like to talk about what happens, and this you can put on for later. What happens if the Oakland A's start off like they did last year, and with they and the Rockies? I mean, is baseball just not caring about teams being so terrible?
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, hey, Adam, thank you for the call. I appreciate it, man. First of all, on the A's and Rockies, it is true. Like if you look at the payroll lists of like their opening day 26-man rosters, it is like pretty wild to see the payroll of the A's and the Rockies compared to like I'm not even comparing to like the Dodgers, like comparing the payroll to like the Cardinals or something, right? Like it's pretty crazy. So it does feel like something should be done about that, but I will defer to Jeff Blair on that. Right. On the record to start the year. I fervently disagree that starting the year 2-8 means the season is over, just because there are so many games. There's so many games. It does, don't get me wrong, it does put you behind the 8 ball when it comes to your like record within the AL, your record within the AL East, which last year, as we know, Julia, was not pretty. It was a bad record, yes. Basically virtually against every team. And a lot of that did come against the Orioles. Like they were like a game under 500 kind of for versus most of the other teams in the AL East by the end of the year. But I do understand the point that you are in a bad spot if you are 2-8, like objectively. But at the same time, I don't agree with the idea that the year's over if you start 2-8. Does that mean it's okay to start 2-8? No. But I just don't think, like, there's so much runway. I know people are sick of, like, it's early and it's the small sample size and so on. Like, I totally get that. But I don't know. Like, in a season that has 162 games, does 10 games really swing it? I tend to think no.
And it's also important to remember, Sho, that other teams in different points of the season are also going to have, 10-game road trips. This is part of the sport as well, just being away from home for a little bit longer and grinding it out on the road. And we know that it is a grind. And sure, maybe it's not the ideal way to start the season, but these guys are professionals and they've honestly dealt with worse, right? They have dealt with half a season in Dunedin and half a season in Buffalo during the COVID years. These are guys that know what it takes and what it means to be part of a major league team. Strength of schedule is not on the Blue Jays' side right now. That is for sure. The Blue Jays have a ton of difficult opponents, not just on the road, but also when they come back to Rogers Center.
Yeah. I think that's the Mariners and the Yankees
there you go.
Pretty early on.
Yeah, which it would be tough for any team. And when you look at the Orioles' schedule, it's a different story. These things tend to even out in the end. And it is unfortunate that this is the start that the Blue Jays are getting for a variety of reasons. But it's also part of the sport. And I would say that if it happens that, they drop a ton of games in this road trip, they come back and they're in perhaps a different spot, it's time to regroup. But it's no time to throw in the towel in any way, shape, or form.
I want to read you a couple texts here, Julie, on the text line, 590-590, name and location. And I had this question myself when it happened during the game, which is why I do want to read you these because I think they're valid questions. So Liz in Burlington and Aiden from Halifax both have the exact same question. So, congratulations, guys. You're on the same wavelength. Liz says, why didn't they pinch hit Kirk late in the game for Servin, even with the expected workload, giving away key AB in a big spot? And Aiden, same thing. Why was Brian Servin allowed to hit as a tying run in the 7th? A guy with a career average of less than 200 shouldn't be on a competing roster, let alone getting late game ABs. I would have liked to see the front office acquire a serviceable third catcher. I know that's not easy when they found out Jano was out. So the reason he's the backup catcher. So that's not that he's on the roster is not a huge problem for me, right? Because if Jano was healthy, he would not be on the roster, right? And the truth is there aren't that many serviceable catchers who are probably that much better than Servin that you would want to give up like actual assets for. Like, because I think a lot of people think, oh well, the Royals are going to stink this year. Go get Salvador Perez, or like I don't know, like some other team is going to be awful. Go get their starting catcher. Even the bad teams. Like Adam's point, even the A's and the Rockies aren't doing that, right? Like, you're not going to go get Elias Diaz and kind of just stick him in there, right? So I know that's not Aiden's point. It's just I don't think that's as easy as you think it is. And I fall for that sometimes because I love to play the fake trade thing. And everyone who listens to us on JSOC knows that. But it is a good question, even with a huge workload on Kirk's plate, why he wasn't in the game late when you needed some runs, because he has hit well in the spring. And again, early sample sizes don't favor him super positively, I suppose, through 2 games. But I mean, if you need a hit, you want your best players there. And I think it's a valid point to ask why not Kirk instead of Servin. And the only thing I can think of was they're just being really strict with these days off early, because otherwise that also would suggest probably that Kirk's going to play tomorrow and that he's probably going to get most of the starts against Houston as well, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we expect, right? No one is expecting to see Brian Servin every couple of days. He is the backup catcher, and that's very much his role, and Kirk is going to get the majority of the workload here. I think it's a super fair question to ask, Sho, and it's one that you and I asked ourselves as well, right? If you're in that position and the game is close as it was, then why not bring in your best offensive option for that moment? And you raise the point of, are the Blue Jays being extra strict right now with Kirk's off days because we expect the workload to be as intense as it is? Yeah, that's possibly or probably a big part of that decision, and it will serve them well, especially in the long term or in the midterm, to think about that right now. It's definitely an unlucky situation, and we have used the word unlucky to describe Danny Jansen so often, but this is where we are, and it's really, really not a sprint here. The regular season is very much about survival and making sure that you're at your best for October. And these early decisions, it may not look it, but they will for sure make a difference, come the postseason when it actually matters most, your show.
Let's go back to the phones. Let's get Jim in Halifax on the line. Jim, welcome to JSOC. What's on your mind?
Hi, guys. Great show. So the Cabrera incident doesn't really give me any issues. I have no fret with it. It was an emotional thing. It's early in the season. He was frustrated. He did what he did. He may have to pay a little bit for it, but it showed some life. The main thing I just wanted to bring up was, if you guys remember last year, the post-game incidents, the post-game shows that we would have, there was a palpable frustration. And I can see in these last couple of games, this frustration just come to the surface, with me personally anyway. And it all comes back to the lack of production in the lineup. The lineup just doesn't seem to be doing what it needs to be doing. And I want to leave you with a question about a particular player, Bo. I don't know what's going on with Bo, but he just doesn't look right at the plate. He's had a couple of errors last game, and I just wanted to kind of throw that out there into the discussion. What's going on with Bo? Thanks, guys.
Hey, Jim, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you joining us from out east. Bo's offense doesn't really worry me that much, only because it's so early in the season. Because, guys pick it up late all the time. He has been so consistent offensively that I think he has, even if most of the team has not earned the benefit of the doubt, I think offensively Bo has earned the benefit of the doubt. So I think he will turn around. That's something I'm not super worried about. I admit I am a couple raised eyebrows perhaps at some of the defensive plays we've seen. Like Jim said, a couple of errors yesterday, or at the very least plays that you think should have been made that weren't, has put somewhat of a creeping doubt in the back of my mind. At the same time, and I do wonder, Julia, how much we should parse this out, because what I'm about to say is going to sound like a giant excuse, but the Trop is also using a new turf this year. And if you think about it, really only two teams have played on this turf, and it's the Blue Jays and the Rays. Literally no one else has. And I don't think the Rays shortstops have necessarily made the greatest of plays. Even there have been some funky plays in the outfield, even today by Rays outfielders, where balls drop just in front of him and it goes past them. And it happened to Ernie Clement a couple times today when he was put from third to left field. So it's kind of bizarre because they're using this new turf that has like sand and ground up coconut husks instead of using the rubber pellets that you usually see. So I do wonder how much you take away from funky defensive plays, at least until you see other people either doing it or not doing it. And then you can say, okay, well, it's just on Bo versus on this funky turf that people haven't really seen before. Like, am I way out to lunch in saying that's a factor? I don't know. I
have to tell you, Sho, I was at the Trop.
Did you run on the field? Did you try and make some grounders?
First of all, it feels weird, to be standing there. The turf is different from what you would expect when you step on a major league field, but that's no matter. But what I will say is this: when the ball actually hits the turf, the amount of debris that just shoots up is pretty unbelievable, and you can see that there's something that is not familiar for these guys. And sure, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a factor, but the reality is that Bo Bichette is too good a player, too athletic of a shortstop, and a guy that honestly has taken great pride in his defense and in the strides that he has made defensively for that to be a quote unquote excuse, right? So it's this is who he is, and this is very much, in a lot of senses, this is his team. He is the guy that steps up and that talks to teammates. We have heard about the rally early in spring training in which he just gathered everyone and spoke to them about accountability and about what it takes to win a championship. Things of that nature are just inherent to who Bo Bichette is, and when you see the defensive miscues, maybe a little slow to step in, a little slow to make a throw, which avoids a double play or whatever it may be. That's not what we expect to see from Bo at this point. So, is it possible to say that something is wrong with him? I don't think so. Again, it's a very, very small sample size, super, super earlier in the season. But you do at least question, okay, is the focus there, and is the physical preparation there, and is he as ready to go as it seemed late in spring training here?
Yeah, because there were some moments even in today's game, even if you just put aside yesterday's entirely, where the ball scoots under his glove. His glove doesn't quite contact the ground to stop the actual ball. So that goes beyond what is going on with the turf, for example, right? So I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but at least offensively, I'm ready. I'm fully ready to absolve him for at least a little while longer, just because he's been the most consistent Blue Jay in the last 3 years, essentially, right? So, if this was Vladdy, then I think you're kind of ready to do it because he hasn't been super consistent. I do want to talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the other side of the break, after we take a very short one here. Vladdy, want to talk a little bit about Ernie Clement, some positives certainly about Ernie Clement's defensive play at third base, and a lot of people on the text line seem to agree. And we'll chat about Yusei Kikuchi as well on the other side. Still time to give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell, and certainly time to shoot us a text as well, 590-590, name and location. J-Stock continues after this. Joe and Julia with you on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
The race is on. Get ready for the rush on Sportsnet. It's getting close to playoff time. And here we go. This is the stretch drive. You cannot let down your guard. The time when every game and every point can make all the difference. If you get in, you can win. The rush to the playoffs is on. Don't miss all the NHL action on Sportsnet. Here for hockey. Watch on Sportsnet or stream on Sportsnet Plus.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Everyone dreams of owning their own personal slice of heaven. Now you can, thanks to Fixed Rate Pizza by Pizza Pizza. Until the end of 2024, lock into an extra-large 4-topping pizza at a fixed price of $17.99. No matter how bad food prices get this year, your pizza price stays. So why not say no to surge pricing and yes to Fixed Rate Pizza? Order now from Pizza Pizza.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Jewel of a Deal is back. It's the most popular exclusive fine jewelry sale at TSC, and it only happens a few times a year. Shop incredible Today's Showstopper offers. Discover stunning new pieces, dazzling diamonds, precious gemstones, gorgeous gold, and more. Plus, turn your special purchases into 12 interest-free easy pay payments and save with free shipping. Elevate your style. Shop Jewel of a Deal now, only at tsc.ca. Today's shopping choice.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The Fork and Knifer, Splatterer, Condiment Queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders, every Tuesday home game.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and watches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The offense? I mean,